The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion Mayday, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
Going hard kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses mowing Mike every day, they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cars. From yellow Mayday 8s, they bred real stars. Welcome to the yard where the legends get raised, where the chain spots shine and the bloodlines praise. Grand Champ King Kunta with that royal type stride. Red ruby in the pen, red hot worldwide. The brat in the cut, keep the hustle on track. Pretty Mama got the look and the structure intact. Elrod bring the heat, Yellow Bird bring the flame. Gus and 38 special certified in the game. What day in the ring, crowd love in the scene. Dogs moving like ghosts in the champion's dream. From yellow to buck, their foundation is tough. Yellow buck in the veins, yeah, the roots run rough. Mayday in the pedigree, ace in the spine. That old school fire still alive in the line. Twin brothers in command, pushing forward with pride. Going hard on the banner, let the whole world ride. Hard work in the yard, every sunrise earned. Legacy in the dirt, with every chain spot turned. No shortcuts, taking no champions bought. Just blood, sweat, time, and the lessons they taught. Going hard kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses mowing Mike every day, they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. Yellow Mayday ace turning pups into stars. Sheriff Pal bought us in the game, stamp legit. Find him in Tornadoes pedigree. Hall of Fame, double grand champion. James Pogay, the formula showed how to build and sustain. Blueprints in the blood, yeah, the knowledge remain. T.O. our partner, Ohio Cash showed how to win. Turn losses into lessons, now it's trophies we spin. Mama, Triple M, deep south in the mix. Arsenal, Kennel, Stone City, solid foundations, no tricks. Hardcore, BLB up in the spec is 6. Yes, yes. Yeah. Tom, Dick, Todd, Tony Wade, Southern Kennels, real ones through time. Time from Pro Set, Windy City, combined in place, low type, apex, pressure built for the chase. Gotta eat boys, black ice, hunger sharp as a blade. Third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid. Yeah. I said third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our archivements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of Going Hard Kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, Going Hard Kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
It's Mo and Mike in the house. Going hard with the legends. Paying homage, you know. Yo. Twins Mo and Mike, we running this game. Legends in the making, never gonna be the same. Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right. The brat, Pretty Mama, they shining so bright. LeMayday, what a day, they breed the heat. Red Ruby Elrod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and Yellowbird, we top tier champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Made a bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunch and awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a tutor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore hitter, Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam lifting us higher.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Made a bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunch and awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Ben, Nate Dogg, putting in work intertwined. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play. So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins Mo and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Made a buck Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunch and awesome, maybe we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom, Schoolboy, aka the. There's levels to this game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game.
What up, nigga? I'm right in the middle of the show. Yeah, no, yeah. Okay. What up? What up? What's up? Y'all know what time it is. It's Hot Mic Friday. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Let me give a big shout out to all my people out there on the back street and all my people out there in the Shark Tank. Showing up, showing out. Look here. Big shout out to my man, Having 360 in the hills. What up, fam? To bite down and shake that like button, the one and only Double M Desbo in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to my mans. Game Dogs University in the house. I see you, fam. Melee 420. What up, though? What's that guy here? My man, Mr. Paul Johnson. What up, fam? Yo, the crazy one, the insane. Big shout out to my brother, Carlos Lee in the house. What up, fam? Showing that love early. I see you. Let me see who else. Dana, P3W, showing the love. Hey, I see you. I see you. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Corey Jones. What up, fam? Representing St. Louis. What up, though? Big shout out to my man, Mr. Archie Fuller in the hills. What up, fam? My man, Mr. Derek Lockett. What up, fam? My man, Keith Jane Lewis. What up, fam? My man, Mr. Guy Ghostin. What up? Bam! Let me see here. I think I got everybody down through there. My man, Mr. John Denbry. What up, fam? I appreciate everybody for showing up. Y'all know we're going to have a very interesting conversation tonight because, we always... y'all know what time it is. First of all, get your dogs. Let's get on this bus, take this ride back to the past. Because we always talk about pedigrees, fellas. Y'all know we do. Not us in general. The game is almost built around the pedigree and the dog. But the history of the game, it didn't really take a turn. It took a major turn. Because think about it. Matching dogs was so prominent back in the day that, they didn't look at it like it was a legal situation. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like if you think about like the UFC, how they became, above ground, but think about all them big fights that used to be underground. What made them bring it from the underground to where we see it as we look at it today? They just felt like we're going to take it out the backyard. We're going to bring it from underground and we're going to give it, how they put it. They made it legit by making it like boxing, governing bodies, governing bodies with rules and titles and, weight classes. And, they just made it out of something that was profitable. And then at one time, dogs fighting used to be like that. They had big conventions and everybody just like hell, from my understanding, when you up in the Madison Square Garden dog fighting, that should tell you they held high honors in doing it back then. But as times changed, everything changed. They was giving out, them little slaps on the wrist, because, people went to complaining and thought it was cruel. But that didn't stop them from doing what they was doing. they end up bringing it to where, a little slap on the wrist and everything. So when we go back there and we look into that history, and let's be honest about the history. Think about it. I mean, it's right there. I mean, we can't go back and change nothing, but we talk about enough of the past when we start talking about a lot of them old dog men that, hey, think about it when I'm saying times was a little different for a whole lot of things in life back then for us as, for people of color, and even for the hard times when the Great Depression came in, Prohibition. Remember, dog fighting was through all of that. But think about all the names you read and see in the history books. I mean, they wrote books and all kinds of things about the history of these dogs and the men behind the dogs. So then that brings us up on 1972. That's when things went to change. Because in 1972, they started, sharing little information. Said, okay, maybe if we do this in a different type of way, just maybe, I mean, I'm not just saying, they were saying just maybe things could be a little different. So historically, the Sport and Dog Journal, which began publication in 1972, played a central, deeply influential, and highly controversial role within the American Pit Bull Terrier community. It operated primarily as an underground mail order publication that documented the breed's performance in history. But its legality eventually faced severe challenges. And we know that happened over the years. But in the beginning, if you get some of them older journals, you can tell that the popularity just continues from that point, how it just continued to grow. So we're going to discuss the influence and the impact on the past American Pit Bull Terrier community. The Sport and Dog Journal was considered the underground Bible for a specific segment of the American Pit Bull community for decades. Its impact focused heavily on the lineage documentation and the standardization of the breed status. The unofficial registry of champions, much like the American Kennel Club, the AKC, or the United Kennel Club, the UKC, confer confirmation titles. The Sporting Dog Journal functioned as an unofficial governing body for the performance titles. It's decreed a dog a champion after winning 3 contracted matches and a grand champion after 5 wins. Pedigrees and lineage preservation. The journal kept detailed clandestine records of match results, bloodlines, brood bitches, and stud services. For breeders focusing on historic athletic game traits of the breed, the journal was a primary source used to map out breeding master plans. It heavily shaped the commercial value of a specific bloodline. A dog earning a title in an SDJ drastically increased the financial value of its puppies and its stud fees. The hearsay. Historic record. Because it was published first hand accounts and the retrospectives sent in by anonymous sources, it became an archive of the 20th century American Pit Bull Terrier history. It documented the foundation dogs that many modern preservations still study today to understand the genetic makeup and the authentic roots of the breed. What made it legal to publish? For over 30 years, repeat that, for over 30 years, the publisher of the Sporting Dog Journal operated under specific legal strategies and constitutional protections to keep the magazine in print. The First Amendment protection, freedom of speech. The primary legal shield for the publication was the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, which protects the freedom of speech and the press. Publishing words, descriptions, historical retrospectives, or printing advertisement is fundamentally different under U.S. law from physically engaging in an illegal activity. The use of explicit disclaimers and hearsay. To bypass animal cruelty and anti-dogfighting laws, the magazine utilized strict legal disclaimers. Every issue typically featured boilerplate language stating the content was published solely for entertainment and historical value. The journal did not encourage, promote, or sanction illegal activities. Explicitly warning readers that participation in dogfighting will land you in jail. All match reports and articles were explicitly framed as unverified hearsay submitted by anonymous sources. By claiming they made no attempt to authenticate whether these events actually occurred, the publisher argued they were merely printing text, not documenting active federal or state crimes. The eventual demise. The legal fine line in the journal walk eventually collapsed in the early 2000s as state and federal law enforcement got involved. In July 2004, the Pennsylvania State Police and the State Attorney General successfully prosecuted and dismantled the publications. Authorities argued that the magazine crossed the line from passive entertainment into active criminal conspiracy and the promotion of animal cruelty. The courts ruled that by officially bestowing champion titles, the magazine wasn't just reporting history. It was actively driving the illegal underground economy of dogfighting by artificially inflating stud fees and setting the stakes for illegal wagering. The publisher at the time was James Friccione. Now, for those who don't know, that was word Kennel. He was convicted of multiple felonies, effectively ending the journal's multi-decade run as an open publication. And you say, Twin, why that? Because, you know, we talk about the journal. And there's a reason why we talk about the journal. Because the journal was part of that history. And it documented, and it gave us like a format. You know, why were people always wanting to be in it? Because it was that thing that was set aside for people who engaged in that illegal activity. But look at the run it had. From 1972 to 2004. That is a long time for a publication to run as long as it did. What brought it down? Well, what really hurt him was where Kennels got busted at a dog fight. That's what really killed it. When he got busted at that dog fight and being the owner of the journal, and for some who really know the story, same time, you know, Jack wasn't really supposed to be involved, but then Jack got caught up in the dog fight his damn self. I think him and Harry Hargrove was together up in that same PA situation. And that led to the drama and everything that came behind it. Now, think about all the people, I mean, who was like subscribers. I think they had over 5,000 subscribers, y'all. The government took and made a database of everybody and everything in that book. Okay. Now, I can't sit here and say I know anybody that ever got, approached and went to jail behind what was going on based on that publication. I know in Mo's trial, they tried to bring it up. And even though, I think it was about when Mo went through his stuff, that was after the 2004 situation. Because remember, it took him 3 years to even bring his case to trial. But the law was still in place as far as the free speech thing, because they wouldn't let him bring it into his trial, because Mo he wasn't caught dogfighting or anything. So it's, it didn't have the same impact as what it did on where Kennels, being he was actually caught doing it. So, and you just think about all them years and what actually led up to that one point to where it all fell apart. Remember, we talk about everything that happened from the 90s into the 2000s. The 90s, it got more popular. It was more matches. It was more people involved. And think about why. Remember, if it don't be, people think it was the Mike Vick thing that turned it down. No, it caused everything to go haywire. Well, because of Mike Vick being who he was, you know what I'm saying? That just brought a lot more hype to the whole situation. But if they took a little situation and, Mike wasn't no big major player. But think about all the major players in that time frame from the time that we start talking about the 90s up into the 2000s. There was a real big change. And, when that change started happening, the laws got harder. Was it because of the popularity of what was going on? Or was it because of the people who were creating the popularity? See, I'm an old guy now. I was, in 1982, I was just in this military, just getting in the dog. So it wasn't like I was a fresh right out the box. So you're taking it from 1982 to 1992. That was a 10-year, of history that we actually was living through to even make it into the 90s when things really kicked off. See, we was a part of what Mo calls that New Jack. And for you guys who don't understand what the New Jack for us meant, things was hot back then, drugs, everything. It was like there was open season. People were selling dogs by this time in them late 90s, or them early 90s. A lot of them great dog men in the past, they couldn't resist that money. And that money started flowing, them dogs started flowing. So then there was a big change in the game, because now it's like any other illegal activity, wrong type of people start playing, and the wrong type of thing is going to always happen. but it kept rolling like a train without brakes. And the reason we always bring that up is because times ain't like it was back then. I mean, remember, we went from weed to crack, and as time has gone on, we had the heroin, and now we into something called fentanyl that, I mean, I never thought anything could get worse than heroin, but something really did. So you pay attention to how times have changed, and you understand that this dog game, it's never going to ever go anywhere because, like Mo said, it was like being an addict. So I don't try to get into what makes that part of anybody who get that deep into it that where, you know, the law didn't matter. Because if I was to talk down on them, then I might as well keep talking. I have to talk down on myself and all the other people that we talk about. What I try to bring to the forefront is if we can talk about Tudor, Mayfield, Leitner, all them men, and you can't forget about the people who took, remember, because they the ones who created that damn journal in 1972. They created a way to advertise them dogs and get their hands on it and build it up from the 70s into the 80s. And by the time them 90s fell, they were already set in stone. And then they had an avenue. Jack had made an avenue to legitimately promote dogs. You know, there's always that little, you know, edge that you can find that you could actually successfully get away with that. And he did. He was able to get away with it until he sold it. But come on, fellas, we still talk about 30 years. Do you know how many matches would I had to taken, you know, that went on in them that 30-year run? A lot of the dogs that y'all talk about so highly, you know, the bloodline is going to be based on what that time period gave you. Think about that. If you take them out of the equations, just take that complete out of the equation, what would you have? Nothing. You wouldn't have nothing. The impact that the journal had was such an impact that as time went on, it got bigger. And when things get bigger, they get out of control. And that's why when we came into the 2000s and that journal changed hands, if you pay attention, if you're familiar with the journal, you see a lot of things changed in that journal. I think Mo can go in and show you some of the biggest changes because he concentrates right at the most pivotal moment when the demise, you could see it coming. And when it came and it came hard. But you can't take away from the history what led up to that point. You know, I always think about Al Capone, Frank White, all them guys, them gangsters that they make movies on, you know, Scarface. Remember all these things that they hyped up and glorified because of what history had put out there. Look at all the movies and the money they made on just telling a story. because that's all we're doing. We're really just telling the story of something of the past. We never tell you guys to take anything that we're saying literally. We're not telling you to go out and do what we did or however we did it. That's 20 something plus years ago, if not more for a lot of us. But it's important to understand the history, because then you have a choice to make. You know what I'm saying? Like every last one of us, everybody I believe that was ever in that journal. And I mean, telling you, Mike Vick wasn't the only top dog man, high known figure that was ever into this dog game. Never. He was nowhere close. He was just one of them who got caught up and they wanted to run with it. But there were so many more that didn't have to worry about that because money talks. I'm trying to tell you, money does talk. But it's important to understand, fellas, that when we talk on this show, we're always going to talk about the history. It's not to glorify it. No, we're not trying to glorify nothing. What we're trying to do is tell you this was a time period in the history of the American Pit Bull Terrier community that was very important to this community simply because it took something that started 100 years and they kept it going through a time period to where you would think that it would have never changed to what it changed to, because there was one hell of a change. And it was during that change that most of the dogs that we talk about today shined. So I'm going to let Mo jump in there because I done showed y'all, I done discussed the legal aspect of this show. The importance of understanding. And to understand, you got to understand where you come from to be able to relate to where you're going. And I think that's always been important because most dog men basically looked into the past and was trying to recreate what they felt was necessary for them to carry their way of thinking, their blood, their dogs into their future. And at the point of the journal, remember the journal was 30 years of that run. So did that make it popular? Did the journal make it popular? I think it did. Because where I hear a lot of guys say, oh, that journal went, and they felt that, everybody's entitled to feel a certain type of way. I know a couple friends that, they play semi-pro football and we're good. But they weren't good enough to make it to the pros. I have a lot of friends that play pro football. Really do. I have a lot of friends that play pro football. No bullshit. But think about it that way. There was just levels to this shit. Always has been levels to this shit. So when we talk about the journal and we dive into it, that's just a little bit different than what was going on in the neighborhoods or in your area. Why did everybody gravitate to the journal? Because it was a sanctioning body that documented, shared, gave you a chance to create something and be publicized. So yeah, there was a reason why the journal changed things, because that governing organization where somebody came up with an ideal, tried to play within the law, and he got away with it. Jack did great. But it took one mistake, just one. And that was getting caught doing something that you wasn't supposed to be doing, running that book. And it wasn't Jack that did it. It was the person that Jack sold it to. That one little thing. And that's how I want you guys to take a look at when we talk about this, to understand, yeah, there was levels to this. Yeah, there was a reason why people wanted to play around in the journal. But like any and everything, is it worth it in the end? For a lot of us, I tell you, and it's been a lot of them, then took them headshots. I mean, literally, will tell you, I went to jail for dog fighting. A lot of them. A lot of them. Some of them went 2-3 times. You know, look how many times did you hear people talk about, oh, yeah, remember when we got cut up and all we got was a little slap on the wrist? Because that wasn't, the little slaps on the wrist, it wasn't deterring nobody from getting out there doing it and be right back in the journal. I mean, I remember they were so cold that if you got raided and you took your dog to the dog pound, they going up in there in the dog pound, they going to go get their dogs. There's stories out there like that. They going to go up in the dog pound and go get their dogs. So, yeah, it was a funny world. And we like talking about that funny world. Why? Because it was still part of history. This is an American Pit Bull Terrier community. The only reason that you could possibly be sitting here in this room right here is that you enjoyed that history, even if it wasn't nothing but to hear about it. Some of us was a part of that history who actually lived it. And all the stories that come with it. Yep, they ain't in no books. They're not out there writing their stories and like, you know, a lot of the other great ones, you know, and there's a lot of books, you know, and some of them I would be able to name that. I can't name them like Mo, but there was a whole lot of books that made a lot of damn money and a lot of dogs sold, that, you know, a lot of breeds went on. And that is the history that we talk about. But we dive into them books. Why do we dive into the books? Because we dive into the books to show y'all, fellas. If you notice, that community, you know, might have had 5,000 subscribers, but based on what the government said, there were 400,000 dog fighters based on their records when they start chronicalizing the history of the Sport and Dog Journal. I think it was 440,000 to be exact. Don't quote me on that, but I'm just saying that's still a lot, but you only still talking about 5,000 subscribers. 30 years of history, and we're still only talking about 5,000 subscribers. So you can't tell me with all that going on, there's so much that wasn't going on in the journal. So when I hear people talk about, no, I wasn't in the journal and everything, okay, I can understand that. I can truly understand where that comes from. But then if you pay attention to that journal, you're going to see a lot of them same names and them great names with them people with them great dogs, because it's like that semi-pro dude who wanted to jump out there and thinking he can play for the NFL and just don't make the team, which puts him back down into what I call semi-pros, or what baseball call it the minor leagues, or like basketball call it the D League. Yeah, there is some serious levels to this shit. And to get a better understanding is why we go into the books. Because not everybody was really hyped on being in the book, because it was hard to get in that book. I mean, there's going to be names of great people that you might have seen when they first got in that book. You see, there was a whole lot of losses. But as some 30 years went on, you start seeing, oh, a lot of these great dogs were from them same people. So that's where I'm going with this conversation tonight, because I don't want nobody to get this thing, misinterpreted, that when we talk about the journal and we dive into the journal, that the journal was just like a piece of shit, everybody this, everybody that. Well, no, that kind of conversation don't work for me, because again, you spitting on the ones that did use the journal, and guess what? Y'all talk more about their dogs and you talk about that person that didn't, that never showed up in the journal at all. And maybe that's why we're always saying, fellas, there is a level to this shit. Because there ain't too many dogs that we talk about in the history that you ain't going to pull up out of that journal over that 30-year time period, whether they were selling puppies, creating stud fees, selling brood bitches, or matching dogs. It was just a matter of what lane you want to play in, because there was one for everybody. And I take my hat off to all the ones who took that risk, because that was one hell of a risk. But for a lot of them, a lot of us, it didn't matter. So, fellas, I need y'all to hit that like button before I get Mo started in here, because I know once he gets started, I'm going to let him just make his run. I got that link down there for anybody want to come up and share their insights, because again, we only telling you guys the history from our point of view, for where we stood into this. How we moved around and the people we moved around with. That's our story. Not taking nothing away from who you knew and how you knew them, because this is our story. You know what I mean? We don't put it out there to be better than the next man. For us to be better than the next man, you was actually climbing over that wall. You ever understood why we be talking about, don't talk about it, be about it? Because that's what really mattered when you was climbing over that wall. That's the difference between the semi-pros and the pros. Because in the pros, you'd expect everybody to be on the same level. And we know even in a pro situation, there's still levels to that game. You're just going to have some teams that just consistently going to be better than everybody else. But guess what? You could be on the sorriest team in the pros, but damn it, you still in the pros. And there was a whole lot of them out there who was trying to level up their game. History was made on that mentality. You can't deny it. It's all a part of that history. But then we like diving into it so you could just get an idea of what that history really consisted of, and just pay close attention to the names of the dogs and the men behind the dogs. Why do we talk about them? Because if they would have bullshit, you wouldn't be talking about them. So it's got to be a reason, and we're going to share some of those reasons. So let me get my shout outs out the way. before I let this go. Let me see who else I got down here. I know I'm way behind on the damn link thing. Hey, man, y'all don't forget to hit that like button. You know, for real, for real. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Will Turner in the house. What up, fam? I see you. Pit Bulls and Prospecting. What up, fam? My man said, yes, sir, like the Bible. You ain't lying. Hands down, you better be on it. Hands down, you better be on it. So I'm going to live by that damn thing. Big shout out to Leatherman. What up, fam? Ain't seen you in a while. Appreciate you showing up tonight, fam. The Hard Way Kennels in the house. What up, fam? I see you. My man, Mr. Chico Nicholas. What up, fam? My man Guy Ghost and said, oh, you Bulldog season is done. Give your prayers to my friend. 8. Oh, man. I feel you. Prayers up, Guy. Prayers up, fam. He said, hey, Mo, give a shout out to Bulldog season to get well in the Shark Tank. Respect the game. Prayers up to him. Bulldog seasons. Big prayers up. You know, and that's another thing, fellas. I don't know. When I'll be talking about the APBT community, maybe it's because of the people that we was around. And, you know what I mean, that were things like respect and integrity, you know, and loyalty. I mean, like in any sport, you know, you're going to have some bullshit. But what I tell y'all about that, I always said, hey, man, if you was in sports, right, and you had a sorry-ass agent, you know, you don't know much about the sport. All you like to do is you just want to play, but you got this agent. And y'all heard these horror stories. Agents robbing from them, giving them bad deals, doing under the table deals. Why can't we just accept that as there's going to be bad business in everything that makes money? And what's the most important part of when you know that doing any type of business? Know the business you're getting into. Because I've always felt like this community was really built on business. If you looked at it any less than that, then you deserve to be burnt. What up, everybody? Get them on. What up, dude?
Golly, man.
I was waiting. Okay, I was waiting on you. Big shout out to my man, Mr. William McNeil. I seen you had your camera on, so I know you wasn't gonna pop up with your camera on. Seen you moving around, but yeah, it's on you, fam. I think they kind of understand in the direction you fixing to take it. So, big shout out to everybody. Don't forget to hit that like button. Big shout out to my man. He said, Trevor Leahy, I see you, fam. He said, what up, Mo and Mike? Were there any blood that you wanted but just never got your hands on it? And if so, what blood and what was it about it that you were intrigued by it? I would still say that Super Kennel situation.
Yep.
Because Mo sweated that shit. And then he was really mad because he was like, I know they're my boys and they let these whack asses get in. That kind of really teed Mo off. You know, just in case my boys is out there. But Mo ain't never made that a secret. Go ahead, Mo. You take it from there.
Yep, that breeding there. That breeding. Wasn't ever really no particular blood outside of Satan and them. Which we had a whole lot more of that shit. But I think Brat the 357. The Brat to 357, I felt like that was like breeding to Mayday. That was that one. And the ones that didn't take for me was Buck Rogers being bred to the shit and Buck Rogers being bred to Sir Cal. Them was those breedings that I look back on. When it was anything compared to what was out there that I wish I could have got my hands on and had it on my yard, it would have still been 357. Everything else that I wish I could have got off was on the yard. But other than that, everything that was going on at that time, them dogs, we were whooping everybody with those dogs. You give a damn what line they were. I'm just telling you that line of dogs was out there kicking ass. And I had the right ones on my yard. Like Mr. Lincoln had the right ones on their yard. Like the guys who had Barracuda and May was able to beat people, get their money, and then turn around and sell those dogs off to somebody else, and they turn around and made money off of them. You know what I'm saying? At that time, and this is only in the Mayday time, in the Stone City time. Before then, hardcore was coming up. There wasn't no true winning yellow dogs out there outside the Havana boys until hardcore hit the scene. With Redman, Bozak, and all them. And during that time, that was around the same time as the Masons with the G shit. Yeah, I'll take y'all through the 90, 91, 92 journal, y'all, and just the Book of Champions right quick and just blast through them. And look what line of dogs. Not only look at the line of dogs, look what the 90s had turned into. No, we're going into 1990. And a lot of these dogs was already established, like Panther, the Mason dogs. They was already on their 16, 17 run before the 90s. Coming into the 90s, they was already becoming famous dogs. Coming into the 90s, hardcore was already becoming famous dogs now. Coming into the 90s, you got the boys starting to fire up because the New Jack time didn't start exactly in the 90s. It literally grew in a down there a 3 or 4 year period of time. You know, somebody talked about the baking soda and the cocaine from 86. And by the time 88, 89 came in, I'll show you through the journal, you ain't gonna see no Floyd Boudreaux shit. No, I mean, you ain't gonna see no, you'll see Ozzy, but I can sit there and say you ain't gonna see no Floyd. You ain't gonna see no, actually the Soros themselves, you're gonna see their dogs. You know, you ain't gonna see no Mayfield. You may see their dogs, but you ain't gonna see them. You know, games, when I say it changed, there was new faces in the games. And it was in, like, David Tant, yeah, he was going in and out of there, but he wasn't doing what Fletcher Shavers was doing. Fletcher Shavers was matching dogs. And then when David Tant and Carl Cruz got a hold of that shit, they was matching dogs, and they was winning. But the greed of selling to them boys for that crazy money, that's what was picking up steam. They didn't have to go out and match dogs when they can sell them for a pretty penny. They didn't have to go out there and raise no puppies when they can go out there and sell them. By then, you know, I will show you I got a 90, 91, 92 Sporting Dog Journal, Book of Champions. And I'm gonna go through this thing real quick as fast as I can, just to give you an example and point out the very names of the people that we be talking about here, be about it all in the journals and shit like that. Okay, these guys that we be talking about, you'll see them in the journal. My question to y'all before I even get started in the journal, I got a big question for y'all. Between 88 and 2004, I would like somebody to name one great dog that you would consider an all-round, a grand champion, a great producer that you will not find in the journal and we using his shit today. Give me one. I'm going to give y'all a second with that one because that's a good one. Give me one dog that we will all know. It was never in the journal.
Hey,
They got a
Mo.
bloodline that we all still riding on or was riding on.
Hey, Mo.
Yeah.
Big shout out to my brother out here, Vance 305, aka Super Kennels. I still don't understand what happened and why we didn't do it. It's a female champion off of 357. I thought you owned her, not Little Rat, another one. Then he said, right here, he said, but Jesse is the reason why Evolution got that breeding when I think about it. And guys, and you guys didn't.
Yeah, I knew that. But I knew because Jesse could have got me in. Jesse could have got me on. Jesse knew what I was doing with his dogs. He wasn't doing enough of. When he finally got on with the bandwagon, he had grand champion Miss Luca. You know, he didn't really make no barn. He had some good dogs out of the blind. He made a breeding, and Stone City made some good crosses, but he was making Stone City crosses. We was making Mayday and Stone City crosses. And we got hardcore to back that up. So my thing was I wanted to step away because I think Jesse caught me saying I wanted to breed the 357. I said Yellow Buck ain't around, and the next thing closest to Yellow Buck that I liked was 357. And that's for real. I said 357, and then Jesse was on that bandwagon. I was in touch with Evolution. I had got dogs and everything from him. I had Ugly on my yard. Jesse got mad at me because I told him I didn't want Ugly. Ugly was off of Yellow Bucking and Miss Piggy, litter mate. And he didn't give me that door. I was going to try to go that route right there. Maybe y'all don't know me enough or something. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mo.
Yeah.
The Hard Way, Kennels, big shout out to the Hard Way. He said, Michael Mo, I had a talk with my uncle, Ace, a few days ago. And he said to tell y'all what's up. He speak extremely high, y'all. Number 2, Joe Abraham. We talked to Joe, though.
We talking about Joe?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah, he talked high because we one of his proteges. I tell you, we one of his proteges, man. He always been my fan. I told you I lost money with him one time. I lost on Queen. I ain't gonna bullshit you. I lost on Queen. When he first got Queen, I bet against Queen, thinking the Pepper was gonna go in there and smash her. I never bet against him again. Never. I learned a very valuable lesson. Very valuable lesson. If you're gonna have a bad motherfucker and you calling it a bad motherfucker, that was the first time I saw a real bad motherfucker. And I always thought when I went to comparing Red Ace to Queen of Hearts, I always felt like, man, if I had never went to Puerto Rico, I could have been just as good as Queen of Hearts. I always felt like that. On everything on my side, I had a bitch like Queen. Because I know what a bad bitch looked like, and I saw Queen. That was the closest thing to me to Queen of Heart.
Queen
destroyer.
Being a bad motherfucker too. When
Queen
she
was
beat
a
Pepper
bad
to me.
bitch. When she beat Pepper like she beat Pepper, you
The
know
way she
why.
beat her.
You know, I didn't have the background on about she just beat Rebel Kennels as champion, you know, and they had duck Shady later. I didn't have all that info. All I knew, they came in with a dog on a revenge match, and I didn't think they had the right dog to beat a dog rough as Pepper. And that was a fucking joke.
Woo! Yes, it was.
I'm telling y'all, Queen of Heart was nothing to be playing with, y'all. She was all that. And Joe and them just didn't start with Queen either. They had been matching dogs, man. You see, they way down there in Florida looking for shit. You know, they always matched dogs. Don't forget they had King David Jr. He was a badass dog. You know, they had a couple good dogs. And they was going into people like Roadblock, and, you know, they had Radar. They had, you know, they were just a hard kennel to whoop. I mean, and when you up in the area where they was from, I'm talking about, god dang, they up in Michigan. Do you know how many bad motherfucking kennels is up in Michigan? And did not slow down either through the years. It didn't slow down. Then you had the OG posse popping up. Damn, West Side Hoorah popping up. I mean, Headhunting them popping up. You know, McNasty them was still hanging in there. Pepper Steve and them, SWAT team, they was still hanging in there. Pepper Steve and them was in there. Pac-Man, that was just a hell of a place to be doing bulldogs. And then y'all got the CCNM boys, you know, that's little Jeff and them up in the Chicago area. Imagine they got all the dogs in match and they got mild conditioning. They busy people, they street people, they too busy to condition the dog. They go get mild.
You know he bringing money in, right?
Right. He already showed his hand. He had champion Stein. He had grand champion Snubby. You know, he already showed this shit. You find him in the 90s with these dogs. We talking about going into the 90s and the late 90s and the early 2000s where he's conditioning dogs for CCNM and they busy. But I'm looking for the chat, Mike, to find out that anybody come up with a name that we can literally say was a great dog that was in the journal's time. In the journal's time. You know? Because there's no such thing. For all those people that are always talking about, I ain't understand the journal. I ain't understand it. And then want to talk about it 20 years later, like they had dogs just as good as these dogs in the damn journal, yet we don't know none of their ass.
Different levels to this shit. I keep trying to tell them there's a difference. What would that shit look like going to these type of people?
Right.
What would it really look like? I can't tell you. I can just tell you based on the people that I've seen and the dogs I've seen. I'm going to tell you. It was already hard enough out there to win 3. That long time.
It wasn't no easy task. Not when you going into, not the way they was playing. They was playing for competition. It was about competition. Traveling, man, look, I will go through this book and show you. Y'all will literally see what I mean by this wasn't no like a little circle thing either. I'm talking about, you see the kennel that I'm talking about, that we always talk about, the be on lit, you'll find them boys travel everywhere. You see them going into Hardgrove way down there in the south, but you got them going into Hardgrove. Somebody traveling. You know what I'm saying? You see him first time, dogs coming out for the second time going into champions beating them. known kennels doing this shit, knocking off these champions. They traveling to do that. Buffalo Soldier way up there in New York. Damn, you down there catch Buffalo Soldier somewhere down there in Florida or Georgia, somewhere like that. Wherever it was a good dog, wherever there was competition. And how do we have that information, man? We had that information based on what we was observing in the journal.
I want to give a big shout out to my man.
Van said termite. I don't think he sent matches in. Well, termite is a sporting dog journal champion. I think he's even on one of the covers, Vance. Yeah, he was a sporting dog journal champion, actually a 4-time winning journal champion. But he made it in. Perry Powell, he did his part because he was definitely, his matches was definitely recorded, and he definitely has a sporting dog journal championship in here. Let me see if I can pick it up. Maybe it was in the 90s. I'm going to check right quick.
While you're doing that, let me give a big shout out to my man, TDK Slim. I see you, fam. Big shout out to my man, Clifton behind enemy lines. What up, though, fam? Mike Red Boy representing Shreveport in the house. What up, fam? Let me see here. Who else I get? Big shout out to my man, Mr. Carlos Reyes in the house. What up, though, fam? My man, Mr. Bill Thomas. What up, fam? Excuse me. Bill say, fellas, how do y'all feel about that Grand Champion Hog stuff? Crossing some of that termite and boils? Or is it that just too much yellow?
I don't think it's never too much yellow. No, I don't never think it's too much yellow.
Yo, big shout out to my man, Constant Trauma Kennels. What up, fam?
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get this on here screen for you. Hold on. There you go. Do I need to make it bigger, Mike? Is that all right?
I would just make it a little bit bigger, though.
Let me fix it.
Okay, slide the book over a little bit. You'll be all right.
There he is.
Yeah, he was there.
Yep. That's David Tant and James Crenshaw in the brother. You know, and he won one more after this. See, they in there. They in there. But again, we're looking at this is in the 90s now. You see James Crenshaw right there, don't you? As long as fight. You can tell David Tank game a good when he went 40 with him. Braddock and them, they just bought the raw dog. You know he got bit up. But as we go through them, as I go through them right quick, you're gonna see these common names. Some of them guys has got ones by their names and stars by their name. You know, they fizzled out. Especially in those older matches in the 90s, because the tides was changing. There was new faces, new people, new connections. Get back here right quick here. And I'm just gonna do quick moves and point out some of these dogs that, you know.
Let me know when you're ready, Mo, because I took it down as you get ready to do it.
Okay.
When you're ready. Big shout out to my man Michael Brown. What up, fam?
We can go back to these alligator dogs when they was crossing them with the Patrick dogs. Go ahead, Mike. You can put it up.
Oh shit.
Let me do it.
Oh, it's up. I got it up.
Okay. Patrick dog and alligator. Look at that. I'm just gonna be scanning through the pages, Mike. You ain't gotta take it off.
Okay.
I'm gonna just stop on ones that's worth some looking at. Especially when it comes to some of the names that I know they're all familiar with. Some of you guys might catch some of these dogs and be like, well, oh, I know them. But as you can tell, like the Beast, still the old Ozzie Stevens, old Giroux stuff. Remember I told you in the 70s, they were, you know, Andre Giroux and Ozzie Stevens hooked up. This is the kind of shit that they started bringing to the box. Just change that losing thing they was on. But even then, you see, look at the kennels that he was going into, though. Two main ones we can speak on, Havana Chico and STP. Look at the referees. They looking for competition. See, that shows you they looking for competition. That's how bad the game had got coming into the 90s. Everybody wanted to go into somebody big. My homeboy, Wild Cash, that's him up here at the top. Beat Chris Kennels Bruno. Judges, Abrahams and Roadblock Mr. T. Yeah, you know what that means. He had to travel. He had to travel to go get the Abrahams. You know, that's a good feeling when you beat the Abrahams now. Havana Danny, using dogs right off a Jeep, beating that champion Sprocket dog in 1 hour and 51 minutes. Beat Divine. Beat Raheem and them with the black and white dog. Got Tennessean being the referee. Games is changing. They looking for competition. The Whitney dogs. Competition. Boys up in Buffalo. You always hear me speak up on Biorio. New York. Look, lost to bad company in them. Cypress South Missy. He turned around and refereed the match of the dog to beat him. Joe D and Mr. Bill being the referee. Andy and Bad Company. The A-team. They looking for competition, y'all. They just looking for competition. More Detroit dog up there at the top right here. They go Armin. Daz and the Bounty Hunter. Oh, Doc Pepper. Great Lakes area. Look at the time, 16, 31, 35. All them good kennels. Competition. grandson of Jeep. I'm just scanning through them. But look at the names that I'm pulling up showing y'all. Ozzie Stevens. Competition. Captain America, Buffalo Soldier, STP, Jesse Rod. Dennis, Ohio Boy. Pocono Rick. Captain America, referees. Look at this shit. Them was Bulldogs. See the competition? Got 2. And ain't neither one of them dogs in the second and third champions, but they got 2. That's how highly regarded they were. Everybody be talking about that David Miller's Cobra. A good dog. But, you know, when I say competition, you can see Greasy Corner Kid there, don't you? Why he ain't got a 1? Was he established yet? There he is. Losing in 48. Antonio Belline coming across the goddamn border with his shit. Knowing that's Texas. See, that's it. Matches in Mexico. Several more matches in Mexico. So he said, Cool is reputed to have won several more matches in Mexico that have gone unreported in this country. Like I said, he was coming back and forth across the border. Chinaman. This is in the 90s. Chinaman crossed with the Klaus dogs. Just riding through. There goes some more Giroux Bulldogs. It probably made a motherfucker feel good when you take like Irish Tim, his whole bottom. He went and took his bitch over there to Booger and got him something. That's his whole line at the bottom. Look what he did with it. What was he thinking when he took his bitch and went and bred the Booger? Definitely got him a winner out of it. Seemed to be pretty game. Out of 17. Andy and Bad Company. The more brothers up there by that Canadian border. Some more boys that had some Bulldogs that was really heavy into it. He grabbed him some Hank and some Giroux shit and said, what the hell? I'm going to try to ship my down self. You know, he got confident because those dogs, they were losing for a minute, and then all of a sudden, they started crossing them and breeding them out. And damn, hit the jackpot. He always had great dogs. He's got better dogs. Look at old Handsome. Referee Mr. Bulldog. But did you see the competition? No. Look, a champion since 1983. The championship wasn't requested until 1990. See, that's what Jigga should have got. See, Jigga, he was a champion, and he should have been a registered champion, and all he had to do was send in and send in and submit for his championship, because all three of his matches were recorded in the journal, but you still had to submit your shit to get your championship. So he would know how the dog was bred, because he got all the matches recorded. But just like they did Handsome, they could have did that for Jigger if it had only been done. And they say it don't matter, but to me, thank God his 3 matches is in the journal, because as good a dog as he was, it's hard to talk about a dog that you don't see. And his accomplishment, yeah, you bragging about him. Remember, I had to go find him in the journal. Yeah, he was a good dog, but I had to go find him in the journal. How could this dog not be in the journal yet? His matches is going through shows that of dogs that's in the matches. Some people don't care, but that's a thank God, like I said, it was in there, because that would have been an injustice to the dog. Yeah, you can ride on it all day, but thank God he's in the journal where I can turn to the page and show you all 3 of his matches, showing you, yeah, he was a sporting dog journal champion. His owner just didn't register it. But all his matches were recorded. This is, and the guys that I'm talking about, these are like new faces to the game. But look at another thing I want y'all to pay attention to. Look at the breedings. Look at the breedings of these dogs that are winning these championships. So all I'm doing, trying to show you why the journal was so important. We don't have none of this, and all we got is somebody running their damn mouth. No, it's not that. I'm trying to tell you, it didn't work like that, and it would have never worked like that. Yeah, you see him? And I'm just going to keep going, slide through them. This is all in the 90s now. There go Roster Man with Lady Stone. You can tell he was traveling. Sonny P, the Harrises, Carolina boy Sonny P, being the referee, beating David Tant, Durant, Havana boys, and Presley. He got a 3 for beating Havana boys champion Blondie, a 3. And you think he couldn't have went with Tornado? It would have been a hell of a good one. Look at the times. 1 hour and 6 minutes, 2 hours and 5 minutes. 2 hours and 5 minutes against the Havana boys. That's saying a lot. Look at the breeding. Look at the breeding. Look at all that Zebo. A low posse's Buster. Another dog coming down. Off the Eli. Being crossed with some Zebo. Why shouldn't it have worked with Honey Bunch and Zebo, huh? Okay? That right there, I use that right there as a prime example of it just takes the right click for it to be the trick. If it didn't click, it didn't mean because he wasn't producing shit, because look at that bitch is double bred. And she double bred low posse's Buster.
Shout out to my man.
Like double bully son.
Shout out to my man Will Turner. He says, stood shoulder to shoulder with Captain America on many occasions. LOL. Also Andy B, Joe D, Joel, STP, Can-Am, Bloodline, Old Days, Tattoo, Jerome, Dog Walker. Jerome gave us stuff right off of old gal's Suda.
Oh, Girl Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, our Girl Sunday. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Right.
But listen, but that's Super Kennels though, Mike.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's Super Kennels. Respect the name. These are things that we must expect because he was that life. He is what we are talking about tonight. Take the journal away, and we will not be talking about Super Kennels. Who want to be interested in some shit a motherfucker just steady talking about? You see what I'm saying? This is what the journal changed. This was like our racing track form. To be able to get there and report our matches. Didn't give a damn. They putting them down. Look at Laser losing the bad company. You tell he was up in Detroit beating that Mr. T-Dog. That's a Detroit dog. We're talking about from Buffalo to New York. And I see Suburbanite Paul down there at the bottom. That's the referee. Big Ralph down there. He refereed bad company up there in the New York area. Rifleman and all them. Up there in the Detroit, Michigan area. So these dogs travel. Havana Boys in them, David Tanton them, this dog Rossi man, he traveled. He in North Carolina. I'm just keeping it moving.
My man, Mr. Turner said back in the day, went into Beetlejuice as well. He was good. We had bunch off of him as well. Same with his brother, Lorot. Who was very underrated.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I had Beetlejuice's. I think I got Beetlejuice's match report in one of these, and on top of that, I bred to him too. I bred Champion Pudding Mama to him, and got some damn good dogs. Look at that red boy shit there. Showing you gameness. Millbuster way over there in Maryland. Cajun Buford way down there in Cajun country. Come on now, y'all. How you think these boys hooked up? So to the Biloxi boys, no wonder. They went down there in Cajun country and showed he had more than just a dog. He had a bulldog. A good investment to me. Showing you the true identity of a red boy dog. That's for damn sure. Starman and Bad Company. Starman was another great dog man. A lot of you guys don't know about him. Old Bounty Hunter, the referee. The Brain, part of Pinky and the Brain. Another great kennel. Texas Express. Another good kennel. Patrick Dog. And this is the 90s. This is where the game was changing. Oh yeah, you know where do you see them old school guys at? You don't see them old school guys. This dog here, Peppy, a black dog that won in 3 different states, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas. Somebody was traveling. Another alligator dog. Matches went too quick. He over there in the British Islands, no wonder. The Ned dog was another good dog. He came right out with the champion. More Bolio stuff. Bolio Eli Cross. Dogs of the 90s. Your first sign of Boyle's dogs. Bam. Look at them times. That Florida area, down in the South, REP, right down here out of Tampa. There goes some more of that low posse buster stuff. But I tell you, Bully Son and Arch Missy, crossed with some Zebo, and y'all gonna tell me that he couldn't do that with Honey Bunch? They couldn't do that with Honey Bunch? It didn't click. It didn't click. And she might have been just a freak of nature based on the fact that, you know, Lady Stone never produced a great dog that was like herself either. Let's take that into account. Sorrel's dogs. Remember, these ain't the Sorrels doing this. These are the dogs that they've been out here selling. They out here selling, and people getting their hands on it. Down Bros, Yankee Raider got knocked off in 40 minutes. There's your Lloyd, that Lloyd Rawhide dog. You see who he was. You can't compare that to who these other bulldog men were whooping. But we talk about old Rawhide like he was a great dog. Maybe he was, but you don't see the competition that I've been showing you. You know, there's matches, yes. And they say he won in tough competition, but I bet you can't none of y'all know who down there. Who is them dogs? That's all you can say. You don't know them. Ain't a lot of them. We don't know them. Grady Redman. Look at that breed. Another good dog. Look, from a Georgia bloodline, won all three of them in Arkansas. They go Leeds Reno. He lost in 2 hours. First time running into that damn champion Flint dog. That's a hell of a way to start your career, going right into a champion. He lost to him. And then he go right back with Reno, and he goes into motherfucking Rebel Kennels. Boy, he giving him a hard task for the beginning. And then to come back and beat Rebel Kennels, come back to beat him. His last 3 was in the good, stiff competition. I just think that he had that dog on another level going up there with champion Flint and Soldier. He showed he was a bulldog. 2 hours and 1 minute, 1 hour and 31 minutes. That's another level. Too much for Reno. He wasn't ready for that stage. Brought him down a level, and he got some of that money back out of Rebel. And went on to win 2 more after he beat Rebel. But we know he turned out to be a producer. With all that going on. But was he a Queen of Heart? No. Was he a great dog? I would say he was a good dog, but he was a great producer. Because he wasn't on the level to beat Flint, and he wasn't on the level to beat Soldier. And he gave him good matches. That's all we can say. He sure as hell couldn't have been quitting, not keep and bringing him right back out. Too much dog on him. Too much dog on him. Nobody's Rocky. Basically another Patrick Cross with some alligator. Max, Patrick Cross, he beat champion Larry in 1 hour and 52. got Sandman being crossed to the Jerome stuff. How you think these crosses come about, man, if they don't know nothing about the dogs? This is way across country. Jerome, way up there in Canada. And you got a popular bloodline in Georgia bloodline being crossed with a Jerome bloodline. 1-3 in the Florida area. See, wasn't nobody sitting around at home talking that we don't travel shit. I'm showing you that. Putting a lot of that bullshit to the test tonight. Be the very same one to be talking about fuck the journal. You see it. Some more of that low posse buster. More Patrick dogs. Look like it's crossed with some snooty shit. I would have to say, is that some snooty shit or some Eli shit? You see Shankbone down there. Some more low posse buster stuff. You're telling me that black chick couldn't win. Keep in mind now, we have one of the low posse's buster and low posse's queen. You know what kind of bulldogs they were? They had them nice bodies and they all could bite. Had them big ass nice head and that big ass square front. Nice filled out full of good stifles and all that good shit. You go STP, you will see STP a lot over here in the 90s. And as you see, he don't take no shortcuts. Now he way up there in New York, but he going into Burns and them. He lost to him in an hour. David Tant, the referee. Yeah. That was one of them ones that he felt like he had a decent dog and ran into one of them South Carolina game dogs that had too much for his ass and put some heat on him. Because it seemed like he went 2 hours with Captain America, but he wasn't ready for the bulldog he ran into messing down there with Mr. Burns. That's all that means. And you best believe to beat STP, you know, the bloodline wasn't strong enough to whoop that goddamn Mr. Burns dog, that big head dog. I believe that. I bet you Pedigree played that. Pedigree. The right dog for his ass. Another UCLA Dream Team a lot in the 90s. They using that old Family Red cross with some clout and old Reno stuff down there. You see it? Old Maximilian shit, 3rd generation. Come on, y'all. My thing is, as we turn to these pages, what you're noticing good bred dogs. Three hours and 12 minutes. Another STP dog. Sold the dog and danced from somebody in Australia. Without the journal, Australia wouldn't even know this dog existed. Here's a dog that we barely know little about, and that's that Doc stuff. That's his own little line there. Somebody took it upon themselves to breed their shit. Richardson said, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to bring you this Doc dog. So evidently he must have knew the Doc dog. Look at that. It says, I believe this pedigree is just about pure Irish Staffordshire. He won in the Emerald Isle. So you already know he wasn't in the country. A damn staff. He ain't had no one by his name, but let's give old Patch some credit. An hour and 17 minutes. Let's hope it was another stab and not a bulldog. Okay? Because that stab went an hour and 17 and 1. Again, there we go. We got a termite right there. We've been there. Mary Lou. Remember, these was all in the 90s. How can you say that the game wasn't changing? We ain't ran across Floyd or you know, James Crenshaw, none of these names that we were so familiar with, none of them old names. Kirkland, all them names, where they at? Yeah, we seeing the lines, but we getting dogs in the third generation. Boomerang, Snooty, these dogs is, look how close they is. They go Tramp. They say Tramp, you know, they could have beat up on Tramp. Tramp won 4 in the central part of the country, the central part. Look at his times, typical for a Jeep Cross, probably a Red Boy Jeep Cross. Come on, man. You know that goddamn Tramp dog with some Red Boy with a little crazy spark in him and some Jeep with that Jeep spark. You see his times, I bet you he was a fast-paced, rough-ass dog. An indicator of what was to come. Some more little Poppy Buster stuff. We got STP, Champion Toro. See that cross? Broadway Jack. That's another Jack Kelly breed. Cross with some down Honey Bunch. He went 2 hours. Still in the 90s, but look at KTK. Look at these names. We know Tramp, but look at all the other names. We don't know none of them. They go plumb around right there with Yo-Yo. Look what they call it, Plummerani. Off of Homer. Nothing close to Alligator. They go Kirkland's, Texas. He's whooping a lot of good dogs. He beat War Paint, great kennel. He beat Norma Kilmer, great kennel. He beat the old Paul's Diamond, which was a great dog, good dog. I would call him good. But for those who used to see it on the internet, Joey got smashed. They go termite right there. Early 90s, y'all. 91, 92, 90, 91, 92. This is the book of the, you see? Now we're going into those are the dogs of the 90s. These dogs are dogs of the 91. We're going to make it quick, y'all. I'm making them quick. More Bully Son Snooty Cross with some G stuff. Showing they can win, and they don't mind putting in a little time. More Carver stuff. That dog he was just a good dog right there. Where the competition at though? See, I'll be looking for the competition. Like if you know some of these kennels like Bloodline Badger, you know, Headhunter was a good kennel. Cherokee Kennel, that's Brian Newman, that was a great kennel. You know, they got the ones by the right ones, competition. Headhunter referee, Headhunter got his head cracked. Cherokee Kennel took a shot at him and got his head cracked. And as you can tell, you know, another good dog. Especially when you see that Divine stuff in there. Divine them has some good dogs. Problem was the dog didn't keep up. The dogs started getting rougher. And they just started getting beat up. Some more low posse buster stuff, y'all. Black Pass. Still competition. Another great dog. Like I said, you'll see STP a lot. Another good dog by STP. Good kennel. Because you know when he bring him one, you be glad to beat him. And you deserve to be glad when you whoop him. There goes some more alligator stuff over there in the United Kingdom. Pure Gary Hammer's Cross. It says Spike and Jesse came down off of Rufus. Alligator. Oh, Steel City. Now just imagine now. Just imagine. What if we didn't have this stuff that we're looking at? What would we be comparing this shit to? You know what I mean? You see the lines that are working. Eli, Patrick, G. Come on now. Look at this snooty stuff. More Chinaman. You know what I mean? Niggerino. Eli stuff. All Carver. Hey, Mike. I just wanted to check, did anybody ever come up? Did anybody ever come up on the chat with a dog that you know that's not in this book that we can contribute a great line of dogs from that have nothing to do with the book and we can all say, yeah, he was famous? I don't think so. Hargrove done a lot of dogs. Another Bully Son Bree crossed with that old Midnight Cowboy. They go that Chavo. And for this dog to be an Eli dog, look at he got an hour 25 under him. Look at old Barney 5. Old Calabi. Look at this dog here, Diamond Dog. He had a lot of faith in this dog. He lost the second time out of 48. He wasn't done. He came back later on and ended up going. He lost one at hour 52, came back and won the championship at an hour and 26. But look where he's from. He's from Holland. Won 3 and lost 2. One on a foul in England from dogs from Holland that were imported from the United States. They do. I mean, how many American dogs will we catch doing that? That's two of them overseas dogs that we seen that kind of shit. Guarantee you won't see a lot of that shit over here in this country. There go Floyd. That's one of them old Floyd dogs, not the Jeep Floyd. But look at that Irish Tom. More Carver. Got some good time. Hour and 3, 2 hours, hour and 35. Going that long, I'm confident in anything under an hour. Some of that old stuff again. That King Lemmy shit. Good line of dogs right there. Fizzled out. If you can find one in today's world, it's pretty consistent. Stay too close to home. Look at this, y'all. This is in the 90s. This is 91 with dogs coming off a grand champion buck. Right up there where they at. All good kennels up there in that New York area. Can't take nothing away from the area. Competitive area. I'm ready to jump into 90, 92, skip a lot of these out, but I don't want y'all to miss too many of them. So I'm just going to be flipping through. Anybody? See, there's more memorable ones in here, like some of the guys that, I call, you got a story to tell you that's lit, it's in these books. You heard me talk about Suburbanite Paul. You see what I'm saying? 1-3 in the tough country of the Great Lakes. Big Ralph and the True Colors. That's when Big Ralph and them was True Colors, and Suburbanite Paul used to be with True Colors. Pepper Steve, Big Ralph, and McNasty as referees. Look, they beat the Champion Laser dog, Big Daddy's Champion Laser, and they turned around and beat the Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper, the one that had that Waldo dog that Joey beat for his grand championship. The night of the champions. He did it that morning. Mr. K. Great kennels like LA Dream Team, yes. Regulators should have got a 1. They go Jumpin' Jack Flash, Havana Boys. They're going to Harris Brothers, beating Sonny P, beating Mr. Locklear, and beat Jacobs and them. All 3 ones. Coming down off that country dog. Then that triple out red. You notice that? That's that Jerome cross, Ozzie Stevens cross with some red boy shit. Red boy shit. With some time behind it. Some time. When none of you, not one of them was a walk in the park. This scanning. The Cooper stuff was some good dogs.
Hey, well, now these dogs here, these were the early 90s, right?
Yep, this is 91 where I'm on now. I'm headed to 92. But I'm just trying to point the dogs that they're looking at. We got great dogs in the 3rd generation, this in the 90s. See, the game changed. When the last time you seen a Boudreaux dog on this bit? Like Maverick and them kind of bred dogs, they came later. They were revamped. You basically seeing the same dogs. Look at LG. Little man. See, they got one in here with LG's trouble losing. Forgot the dog that beat him. But he in here.
I see Bounty Hunter.
Look at another Boros dog.
That's the same crumb that had cremator, ain't it?
Yep. What you would expect out of a Bulls dog, and there's another example of a Bulls dog. 24, 15, 32. Wrecking shit. That's what they was known to do. Queen of Heart and Pandy wasn't the beginning. It was a coordination that got worse. That Hank stuff still sticking around. First sign of a Boudreaux breed. Boudreaux Kingfish breed. That's all we know about this shit. Murder one. And look at it. He turned around there and beat Suburbanite Paul's dog. Big Rob, Doucette, Big Leonard. Know all three of them. Detroit area. I'm going to be moving along. There's some more Mexican stuff. They say, look at it. Running to some of the hard, reputed to be one of the hardest mouths in the world. 31, 12, and 8 minutes. 31, 12, and 8 minutes at 35, 36. Boy, he had to be biting. They couldn't figure out how to put a nose dog on that thumb bit. You know what I'm saying? See how hard he would have been bitten about 20 minutes of somebody crunching that nose. That mouth. There go that Don's Ninja. Great pedigree. He ran into a good one and ended up going to hour 7. He ran into a good one, but he won. That was out there in the West Coast. The West Coast.
Who says Ruby D?
The dog right here, this ninja dog here, he lost to Air King Kennels' big boss man in 14 minutes. Prior to that, he did a good one in 48, hour 14. Everybody else he smashed. Then he turned around and got smashed. Won 3 in the D South, and he lost going for number 4 in 14 minutes. Oh, Doucette, another Detroit man. Look how that shit is bred. That's his breed. Coming down off New York, crossed with some Jeep. Some Eli down at the bottom, who we lose to Roadblock. But he beat the Grim Reaper. That should have been a 1. The Cedar Boys should have been a 1. Referee Suburbanite Paul and Pac-Man, that's Detroit area. That's his area. More Oddie Stevens.
Okay, Mo, you need to really move on to them damn 90s, mid-90s, boy, because you still
Well,
got
I'm
they
just
just
coming about
beginning
the
right
90s.
here.
Now, this is when we start seeing a lot more of these, like, they go hardcore. They go hardcore right there. First one you see up for yellow. Here's another one over here. Wilson and Kenny's Red Man, made champion, but look who he lost to. He lost to grand champion Joey, then he turned around and lost to Charlie. Irish J refereed one of the matches. Joe T, you know, this is a traveling dog. He had a Joey in there was going to his backyard.
Texas Ron stayed busy back then, though. You notice?
Yeah, but he was more in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yep, he was in the 80s. That's about his last one you're gonna probably see in here for a minute. They're gonna rattle up another one of Rattlers and stuff. I don't know. I think this was why he was up north before he moved down there to Ohio, down there into the Carolinas, because he was from Ohio. See, this kind of there was a kennel that started growing up there in the Michigan area, Great Lakes area. I see Big Leonard as the referee, Detroit area. More Patrick dog. Hold on. But here, let me just, for my boy from New York, I'd be wrong for not putting my boy Randy up there. He went on the windfall. That's the Chambers boys. That should have got a 1. Goodyear should have got a 1. It was all good dog man. Kingfish Kid. Country Boy should have got a 1. Tip, that's Tipton Mike. Tip, yeah. That should have been a 1. Kingfish Kid, another great dog man. But you got, if you're looking at the pedigrees, you know, they don't last long. I mean, they're still, especially the same old pedigrees. You know, look at that Giroux stuff having playing time. Look at the dog man he was whipping. He's still, the road dogs were very competitive dogs. And now they still surviving now. They still surviving from the early, the late 70s to the 80s. And we into the 90s and you're still seeing Andre Giroux shit. That booger stuff. You know, they were always talking about them Latin boys couldn't win. Look, they took that Argo dog from Jocko stuff and crossed into that yellow stuff and came up with that Stina bitch. 1351-35. She was probably has some, she could probably bite. One of the most successful breedings was that Red Boy Jocko cross. Well, let me just zip through here.
Keep zipping on.
I'm zipping.
You still got the you still got the mid-90s to deal with, bro.
Well, I ain't got to be in 90s. I got from 92, and then I'm gonna jump to the 2000s as far as, you know, those books. You know, I had the 99 journals, but not, you know, made in them. No, I got to skip right over them. They were like 90 in the 90s. They go Mason's dog Triple Rock right there.
I thought
two with Triple M in them.
I thought I seen a Tater in there.
Oh, Champion Tater, yeah.
Roblox Tater.
Yeah, that's the dog that they took from Kenny Allen.
Mm-hmm. The one that him and Mr. T fought, he said Mr. T when he said he was supposed to get him, he went down there and took him. Just gave it to him when he
That's the
asked
dog
for
they
it.
fell out over right there. You see Ohio Cash, right? That Wilma bitch, that bitch was a champion when she lost. When she lost to Tater. Tater beat her, she was a champion.
I've seen that fight.
Yep. I got so many of these motherfuckers, man. I haven't. I'm just got.
That's what I'm saying. You just got to move on, man.
This is 92. I'm gonna jump right on over to 92 and pull out some quick ones, some familiar ones. You're gonna see some good ones in here right quick, because this is where y'all gonna start seeing the koi and the banjo dogs, and you know it changed. Amtrak, Jesse Ride stuff. One all his in short order. Look at old Harry Hargrove down at the bottom. Some more Grand Champion Buck stuff crossed in with the Boyle stuff. Up there in that Michigan area. Red down from Windy City Combine. That's Suburbanite Paul right there. That's who that is. That's Detroit area. Great Lakes area. They go BB Red. Win another championship. Look at that, y'all. That's in the 91, 92 now. 91, 92.
Big shout out to my man Marcus Boyd. Marcus Boyd. He said Grand Champion Savannah was a hermaphrodite monster. I ain't heard that in a while.
There go Banjo.
Big shout out to my brother Tony Wade in the house. What up, fam? He said old family Red Nose needed something.
Oh, yeah. There go Bandit, another badass dog. He lost to Rusty Man, Grand Champion Brunson. He beat Rusty Man, then came he beat Rusty Man. Rusty Man came back and beat him with Bronson. Must have picked him up because he was able to come back and win in 42. Took him to another level. Oh, hold on. Let me bring that back on down here. Let me get out of that level. Too much bulldog in that level. Another good Cajun dog, Coy Banjo. You don't see DSK Banjo. You don't see DSK BB Red. You don't see them names change until the Coy joined DSK. Remember whose dogs they were before they was his dog.
Whose dog were they, Mo?
Mad.
For those who don't know, that's Mark Anthony Davis.
Another good cross, line of dogs. Snooty Cross. Kenny Allen, knocked off. Champion Ninja, knocked off. Look at the time, 45-14. He knocked off Champion Ninja in 14 minutes. Remember, we just saw that soul man, Champion Ninja. 14 minutes. STP, more Grand Champion Buck.
My man Marcus B said LA Dream Team was super active out west. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I had him a lot. He was showed up a lot in 91 and 92. You're gonna start seeing him here again in a minute. Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of him in the 90s. Early 90s, he was a pretty busy man. They were pretty busy. Oh, Calvin. That's
Yeah,
Little
some
May
times.
brother, grand champion handicap as his brother.
Look at the
Captain
times,
Calvin.
man. Look at his
Huh?
times. Look at his times.
Oh, Calvin.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's handicap brother. He was game.
That's what I'm saying. Look, this is game right here.
Patrick Cross. Patrick Cross into the Boyle stuff. It's all the same. They go Cool Buck. Little Mate brother, his brother James is the same. They were Little Mates. You see, it was Cool Buck to beat that LG's Trouble in an hour and two. That's the same Cool Buck and Little Mate brother James when we bred into Satan's sister produced BJ and Charlie. The dog that was going, Charlie was the one going into Tyrone. Good line of dogs. Good line of dogs. Game dogs now. The test would have definitely been a good test. You know, it would have been a great match. You know, I don't say it to be hating because they both my friends. I can just tell you that I saw that Satan shit. I saw that Satan shit be some great dogs. And I seen goddamn Charlie and BJ whoop some good ones. So that would have been one hell of a match. That would have been a match of the year to me. More North Carolina breeding stuff right there. You know, I always look at the competition and say, yeah, they was definitely matching dogs because you can lose at any time. No. They're going to trail driver. That's the dude I was talking about, Mike.
He was on the phone with?
Yeah, trail driver. He's the one that told me that about the Earl Tudor Maurice College situation with Black Widow. That's the guy. That's the one that told me how, and he was very, very close to Earl Tudor. Supernat. Another one up, Grand Champion Ace. 1 hour, 30, 41, 29. Yeah, that's about his pace. You don't like to lose. You don't like long matches.
Yeah, he don't like to go long at all. He made that clear.
Man, the referee, both his matches decided to go into him for his fourth. And it was very quick. You didn't see the dog go 2 times and you decided you thought you had something to whip him? Okay.
My man Tony Wade said, no doubt, Archie, Low Posse has some good dogs. I'm telling you, Solo was a badass dog.
I'm coming down till the end. They go to LA Dream Team. Yeah, they were doing. They showed up a couple of times.
They was running that Searle shit though, wasn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Running the hell out of it.
This is Powerhouse before they changed up bloodlines. They had a good one, rough one. Big Brindle bitch, red Brindle bitch, 4-time winner. Bitch never made it to 30 minutes. Coming down off that old family red nose shit. Old family red nose. Where that shit at now? Doing that kind of shit. Huh? Huh? Old Mayfield stuff overseas up there smacking down shit. But as you look at the pedigrees, guys, it's not been too many pedigrees that we couldn't look at and not understand how these dogs was bred. As I run down through them, you can look at their pedigrees and see how they was bred.
Oh, you're at the 1220 mark.
Okay, Plummeron. Let me see if let me speed up. I didn't get to the grand champions, but let me see if I can get the Stein in there. Hold on.
Big shout out to my man, Mr. Dorian Saul. I see you, fam.
Richard Line Connections, John Wayne beating James Crenshaw now in an hour and 30. Hold on, let me jump around here a little bit. Here goes the road dog right quick. Bred to some snooty shit. Lost in 41. One with the Plowboys. One with the country combine. Yep, and he lost to them big boys. And then the Otter dog. Old man Otter now.
Big shout out to King Josh. What up, fam? I see you. He said, hey, Tony, did you get a dog from Steve Gregory off? A dog he had coming from Flex. Okay.
Yeah, I know he did because he had a champion.
Or he
I
just
think he had two champions. I think they were maybe two-time winners. I know one of them might have been a champion. But yeah, I remember that one. It was off Flex.
Tony Wade said, King Coach, I own Flex, but never met Steve Gregory, but I bred some damn good ones off of Flex.
Yes, he did. Oh, yeah, he's in our book.
Big shout out to the Mad Doctor. I see you, fam.
They go Coy again. He lost to Kirkland's Pepper. She wanted to become a champion.
Okay, Mo.
Okay, you go Stone City Luger. You're starting to see them pop out.
Blood don't look nothing like what they wound up with, though.
No. But that was awesome baby there, though.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take a quick jump. Nothing interesting here. PHP, I put this one under there. There's a good one. Rocky. He got Super Nat back. Look who he was. He beat the Burns. He beat David Tant. He beat Chico, and he beat Super Nat. 34, 1 hour, 29 and 58. Bulldog. Patrick G. Cross. Remember, we see the Patrick Cross and the Bulldogs. Now we're looking at some Patrick Cross with some Giroux shit with the Jeep shit. Killer.
Mr. Will Turner said a lot of people don't know how good the quality is of those Giroux dogs. But we talk about it all the time, though, Mr. Will. We're always trying to remind him, shit. When him and Ozzy hooked up, they became monsters.
Yeah, I mean, in the 70s, he was unbeatable. In the 70s, he was unbeatable. They got his number, boy, in the 80s. He had to take a breath. Came back and hooked up with Ozzy and turned right back on coming into the 90s. He came back with a revenge. Best thing he could ever did was hooked up with Ozzy. They was breeding the same stuff. They just started breeding it together. What he was lacking, Ozzy Stevens had. Best thing they did is when they hooked up together, and boy, did they go back to work.
My man Tony Wade said, King, I got Flex and his brother from James Edwards as a 6-week-old pup. And his sire was Marty B, bred from James Edwards, and I can't remember the exact dog's name. Could have been Solid Junk.
It might have been Solid Junk.
Because they remember they was on the yard around that time when we was down there.
R.I.P. Stepping away from the Boyle shit. Still had a good one. 1 hour and 10 minutes, 9 minutes, and 18 minutes. You look, 2 good dog man he beat. World and Henry B. Quick. Headhunter the referee. See, I don't know what World saw to be the referee the first match and think he could whip him the second match. Man, didn't last 9 minutes.
I see you, bro. He said, "What's up, Mike? Fam, Reese, preach it."
They go to some more Giroux shit. This time it's crossing some of that old St. Benedict stuff back there. That old Dylan stuff. Raging Bull, Farmer Boys, them both ones. Frinkle Winkle, that's a one. The brother, B.R.O. Ross, that's a star by their names. See, names that they should have had starred by. They don't get it right all the time. But if you've been around as long as we've been around, we know the people. I've seen the So-So Boys Magnum cross. Nice cross. Magnum was a good producer.
Big shout out to man, the Hardway Kennels. Appreciate the love, fam. He said, great show for the history of the game. Facts on paper. Yes, sir.
That's what it's about. Another Boyles dog. Told you them Boyles dogs was up in Detroit smashing shit. 35, 126, 39. Rifleman, the referee, Mr. T from Roadblock, and Pac-Man. Another great dog man y'all hear a little about, Pac-Man. Great dog man up there in that Michigan area. A lot of shows was done at Pac-Man spot. More Giroux stuff. Oh, Boston Crumb, another great dog man. Y'all hear a lot about him. Boston Crumb was another great dog man. Crossing that King David stuff into that Sweet Williams stuff. Lost her first time out, got smashed. Lost to that Marvis dog. I think Marvis was Queen's brother. Might have been Queen's brother. No, it was a female. Yeah, Marvis. I know she might have been Queen's little mate sister, if I'm correct. No, it wasn't Queen's little mate sister, but I know Marvis is related to, yeah. Might have been Marvis who was related to Queen. Another Souls dog. As you notice, when they winning, they winning. Macari's Tyrone. Remember, this 91-92 now, y'all. 91-92. There's all 4 of his matches. 56, 36, 10 minutes, and 58. He just Rob Maverick in 56. And he went to John's Outlaw. Harry Hargroves, the referee. And the last one, he went 58. Yeah, it would have. I can definitely tell you, at 41, him and Charlie would have been the match of the year. I think it would have been a great one. Some more of that Jeep, Grand Champion Miss Ray, cross with some old Ozzie Stevens shit. Here go that champion weirdo Waldo I was talking about. He lost to Joey. Joey beat him in 44 minutes, smashed him. You see his matches. Pocono, True Colors, Roadblock, Suburbanite Paul. Great Lakes area. Now I'm just gonna run through the grand champions, y'all, back then. Grand champion Ace, handicap. I want you to check out some of these crosses. Bear Trap. Too many people not even heard of Bear Trap, but that old Bob Nibbler stuff. That old Bob Nibbler stuff had a little bit touch of that old Family Red in it. Be some good damn kennels. You know, and back then, you know, it was not easy to become a grand champion. They go that Jose's bull. Wendy Cindy ended up winning. I had a picture with him too. He was up there. Look, he got Bluegrass Kennels. They go Randy B, refereeing. Saying Randy B that had Spike. They go Noonie. Suburbanite Paul, the referee. Nate Abraham in number 3. Number 4. Number 2. Number 4 and 5. Great Kennels. They go Rossi Man Bronson, grand champion. Another great one. Not only Lady Stone, that's why I said, that's why he's lit. He's always in my conversation. He had one, a good one. That Bronson dog wasn't no joke. And he didn't have to rub him, as y'all would say. Magic Lion Pitts Chief. Another good dog right here. That's one you bet your money on and you know he gained. At least the dogs that he was putting him on before they bought him. After they bought him, they knew he had some gamers to him. Look at all the people who refereed his matches. They go REP. See, he had all good referees. I mean, even Porter should have had a star. But you don't really see the stiff competition you'd be expecting, right? But he's still a grand champion. All you see these days is the grand champion. You don't really take a good look and say, well, he sure didn't go on to people like Queen of Heart now. He sure didn't go on to people like STP and them, Paz and them. Well, he did. And it proves and shows you that he didn't. Anybody know anybody on there? Campaigned in the Deep South. Not knocking what I'm saying, I'm just saying. The Fritz dog. You gotta look at their records and be like, huh. But you gotta look at RC and the Sosa boys, they had good dogs. They didn't run from competition. They gave man get back. On Frisco. But when you look at it and you look at Grand Championship RC and the Sosa boys, you be like, wow, he really didn't whoop shit. Well, but he won 5.
Look at them times.
I mean, at 36, you think he would have imagine what kind of dogs he could have ran into? He may not have stood up to that. But he was definitely a game dog. Gamers don't help a dead one. Gamers will get you killed when you put him on something that small. And he really he showed good time, so you know he was in some good matches. Not taking nothing away from those guys. But that weight class, you expect the dog to be game. Everybody look at that Hell Ben and give him a lot of credit because he beat a lot of good camps. But his hardest match at 1:30 with Harry Hardgrove being the referee, what did he really do? He beat a no name, but the no name stood in there longer than the main big kennels. You know what I'm saying? Big kennels couldn't last with him. Who know Bird Dog? Who know Bird Dog? Well, none of us know Bird Dog. Bird Dog ain't no family history story. You would have said that he beat a nobody, but it took him 1:30 to beat him when all these other four great kennels couldn't even last over 40 minutes with him.
Shit like that happened.
Shit like that happened. They go plumb around again. There's this grand champion. That don't look like no alligator shit, do it? Who would not know plumb around? Why would I not know plumb around? No alligator. So how you gonna get that plumber name? Plumber around is somebody totally different than plumbers. Look at all them ones. Look at all them damn good referees refereeing his match. Look at them times. That's a boiled bulldog right there. That's a boiled bulldog. And the motherfucker had that little retarded ass turning style. Let's see. Double bred. Jeremiah had a particular style of turning during the match. However, it don't seem to be so particular when you consider that all of Jeremiah's grandparents' traits go back to Dirty Mary, especially with all that turning shit. As a matter of fact, 3 of the 4 great grandparents were wept by Dirty Mary. So was in turn side by the granddaddy of all turning styles, Burton's grand champion Hank.
That's a trait.
That's that trait.
That's that trait. Don't tell me that traits don't go a long damn way. Even that shit.
Now imagine a turning motherfucker and you losing in 36 minutes, 21 minutes, 23 minutes, and he was a little dog. Probably did a whole lot of snapping and turning. Grand champion Joey. Look at his minutes. 15, 31, 22, 25. He went 1:12 with Texas, and it should have been over sooner than that. Look at the names that he beat. And he was a traveling. He went to Texas, Michigan. On Water was number 5. Buns and Company, Shangbone. There go that Suburban Night Paul again. I'll get this one in right quick. There's another good one. That's Santa's Mongoose off that Russian Bill stuff. Cuban Cowboy should have got a 1. Browns camp don't know him. He didn't want over 25 We know he was up in the Michigan area. Mr. T refereed that match. STP, Jesse Rod, Mr. Bill, all them up in that New York area. Again, traveling. These are traveling dogs.
Hey, Mo, hit that Onyx for me because I did see him. Remember, I got a chance
Yeah, we
to
saw
meet
him when we was in Puerto Rico. That's Grand Champion Onyx. More of that Bully Son and that Sweet Williams cross. Some more of them familiar names like that, Tehani Sonny. Same people that had Game Jane. Puerto Rico. Yeah, I had pictures of him when I was down there. They go Samson. Grand Champion Samson. He was another dog we seen. Who was that? Zinger. Samson and Zinger. That's one of them. After whooping Zinger, he went on to become even greater. But look at his times: 29, 36, 55, 28, 55. All good referees. They say in Yugoslavia, he got killed during the war. People say that was just a lie because they actually got stolen. There's another Akron dog right here we always talking about. You always hear us talking about in Grand Champion Satan. Again, look at the people that he whooped. I always remember that little thing over there when we were talking about Grand Champion Satan when it comes to what a Grand Champion looked like, where they were trying to explain this day shit. And we trying to tell them, and they had the nerve because, and maybe it was because of we was talking about him, but they could never do what I'm doing right here. They could never do this right here. That's who Satan was for those that didn't know him. And his little mate sister, the one who was the mother of BJ and Champion Charlie. That's the kind of line we were talking about. Yeah. Don't know nothing about that shit. All that shit go back to that Dolomite dog, Grand Champion Luther's little mate brother. You see him down there at the bottom, he double bred. That shit goes back to Luther, Eli dog, back to that old Cooper's Kung Fu shit. The dog wasn't nothing to play around with. He was definitely a bulldog. Kenny Allen gave him his roughest match. He suffered. Believe that. That just show you how game he was. But he beat all the good, great dog men of his time. Straight out of Akron, Ohio. Went to 5 different states to win his matches. Yeah. Went to several different sections of the country to do that. We was trying to get Saint Boy's Grand Champion Lionhead. He didn't want none of this. He did not want none of this. There's another good one, Solution. He was down here where we was. He beat Bluegrass. He was a good dog. Look, you got Captain America. Captain America from Canada. Yeah, he a referee in a match from a dog that's down here in Florida where I'm at. Showed you what kind of bulldog he was. Open that door and let anybody want to get him, come get him. That's what you call a real bulldog. Pat Bill's Grand Champion Zabo. Look at his wins. Well, they always talking shit. Pit Bull Rick. Good dog, but somebody tell me anybody's name that you know there. David's Red Man went 2 hours and 2 minutes showing that he's a bulldog. But when you talk about other people and they shit and what they done, compared to him, compare that dog at that weight to this dog. Okay? Compare that dog right there. What he did. Look at his shit. Don't talk shit to me. You ain't got no room to talk shit to me. When I can show you what I'm talking about. And he didn't have a collapse in his arm. This dog didn't, there was no weak spots in none of them dogs. None. Never sit there and watch this kennel lose 5 in a row. And sure didn't see none of these good ones lose. Huh. He didn't bring that one right there. Should have came out there and came over there and played where we was. He would have lost like all them other ones that deal had lost. Not talking shit, because I'm talking the truth. Should have never hooked up with Picard in there, because Picard and took you out there in the world that we was playing in, and that was not where you belong. And it was proven at that point. Don't talk shit, get mad, because I'm saying it, it's a fact. Candy, another good dog. Look at her times. Boys, dogs. 36, 35, you know, look at them. Some badass dogs. Oh, you got the right bulldog, you got to kill her. Round Rod Duchess, another badass dog. You know, after she beat Sugar and Mom out, I mean, his task was over. 22, 32, the longest one went 1 hour and 1. Beat Mama in 28. Beat Champion Sugarfoot in 29, 39. But they bulldogging. Bulldogging. I gotta keep it moving, y'all. Hold on. That's my two. And as you notice, it wasn't that many grand champions that year. It wasn't that many grand champions that year. It was hard enough to get past that.
All right, Mo.
Okay, all right, there it is. It's the last one right here, Trouble. Look at Trouble. Look at all them ones. Look at all them ones. Like it said, look at there. It said, what Trouble lacks in her pedigree, she made up in the talent and game. She won over some first-class dogs in the hands of some very successful dog men. All her matches were in the Deep South. Several of these were at the shows put on by Rebel Kennels prior to the 1990s. Down there in that motherfucking area where, you know, where it was deep. Bobby Hall, Roster Man. That JC could be James. Futch. Yankee Charlie from Yankee Boys. That's it. Register of merits. Let me get to that list right quick for y'all before I shut it down. We're going to the 2000 on our next run. We're going to play with the 2000. World champion boat action. Good dogs. They go that Rose Booger. How many times did we see him tonight? Grand champion Buck. How many times did we see him tonight? Boy Bob. Kind of late, huh? Remember, this is only had to do produce 3 champions. Bobby Jr., Mason champion Hammer, in Texas Express Midnight. And that's Patrick Boy Bob. Look how old this dog had to be to finally get a motherfucking registered mare. You know what I'm saying? With all that little tater shit. His goddamn offspring was producing better than he was. Chinaman, another good one. Otters Crop, Pineapple Kids, goddamn China Rose. To eat his Game Jane. Well, we know Game Jane lost one. But she produced a good one. She produced that Grand Champion Tomboy. So the gameness was definitely there. That Thibodeau's motherfucking Emily was another nice producing bitch. You know, created that LG shit. You know, you hear Mason talk a lot about them Thibodeau dogs, remember? He talked a lot about them. They go Midnight Cowboy, producing an all whim. He didn't need but 3. Remember, he produced Grand Champion Onyx. You know what I'm saying? They go that Gator son, that Boomerang Cross, Jake Carver. And if you notice, the only really Grand Champion the dog can really holler and talk about it so far, Billboard Bob, yeah. But when we look at it, we still say, well, damn, we can talk about the Thibodeau, the LG shit, right? Which is true. But the standout would have been Chinaman. And all these Grand Champions, it would have been, you know, most people would have been hollering Chinaman, more recognizable in this time. More Patrick Dog. Now, if you've been paying attention on them all whims, how many Patrick Dogs did we see so far? We got to remember, we seen Boy Bob, boat action. Come on. You go another one right here, Patrick Dog. Cross with that clout stuff. We've seen a couple of Hank dogs tonight. That Hank stuff.
Well, coming up on that.
Little George. More Carver dogs. Yeah, we coming to the end, man. I'm gonna jump over it. That's about it. That Larson Red Ed. Off of that low posse buster, like I said, that Eli stuff.
Seen a lot of that tonight in the book.
Yes, we did. That Mr. K's text. More Eli stuff. Low posse buster. More Eli stuff. Standouts. Especially when we start talking about Eli dogs.
For that time period. Yeah.
Yes, sir. They go one coming off of that Diamond Dog, Champion Truck. Here's another good one, straight Carver Dog.
But see, that's when we was down with Blood and BA and Solo. Remember, we had all that shit. Because that was a thing back then. In that time period.
Right, and they say right here, it says the Champion Diamond Dog, in addition to be a registered mare, was also a registered champion. You know, they just had to get that in there because that's that old motherfucking Carver stuff. Stuff that ain't even supposed to be working up here enjoying our time of being producing good dogs. You know? TK, K, and that Avis dog. Okay, more of that. Here we go. We got some more old-fashioned Mr. K stuff. More of that.
We've seen a lot of him tonight too.
We've seen a lot of him tonight. We've seen some of that Irish Tim stuff tonight. This is why. Register merit. Here we got some more of that goddamn Jeep. We got some Jeep with Carver. Another goddamn dog off a Jeep. Those Havana boys, Champion Maggie. That Irish Town stuff, more of that goddamn Lopazzi Busted stuff. If you notice in the crosses, them crosses. It's the crosses.
All right, Mo.
LG Kim. Look at that Thibodeau. More Carver. More Boyles. Boyles Eli Cross. More Boyles. Patrick Eli Cross. Okay? That's it. And they had all the champions, and look at all the champions, and this is in the 90s. This is the list of the champions in all the yearbooks up to 92. Look at all them champions. All champions. Pages of people recording their matches. All champions. And how in the hell you gonna tell me you ain't got no business in this book? Why would you? If you ain't in this book with all these damn champions, that's your damn fault. Nobody want to hear that shit now. We can't even go out here and look in the index and come and find your ass. Yeah, you want to talk about some shit that we got to hear about. We can't even talk. We can't even see for our damn self. Why didn't you register this shit? Why didn't you register? Oh, you didn't want nobody to find. Well, don't be up to act like we supposed to know about you and care about you now. Not our damn fault. Wasn't nobody else scared. All these damn people in this damn book, all these registered champions. Oh no, that's your fault for being scared. You ain't in the history book, son. With all these names, we can go through some of these dogs and don't even know who the hell they is. But one thing for damn sure, that was to come up on the show and say, hey, that dog right there, that Trixie dog, Mother's Trixie, that was my dog. Never heard of the bitch. But she in the book. She in the book. She was definitely a champion. Y'all know what I'm saying. I'm going to end the night with that one right there. That's all of them. A whole bunch of them back then. Now, you can imagine what happened to that book of champions by the time it got to 2004. By 2004, and the numbers definitely tripled. We're going to go look into the 2000 band. This is the only one I have. I'm missing the 93. I got the 98 and the 99 and the 2000 up. I'm missing 2001. But very educational history thing there. If you notice, it wasn't a whole bunch of Tudor shit, all that other shit. You know, all that disappeared in the 80s. You didn't see Snooty, you seen his dog, but a lot of that shit, and a lot of those dog men started getting back out of there because dogs were coming out there a little rough. You know, when you out there buying a man's best dogs and they up in their game because of the areas these dogs are getting in, the only ones that survive them we talking about is the ones that survived the box. They're the only ones we looking at, the ones that have survived the box. Dogs lost, dogs had a chance to come back and try to win. Just drop down a level. You wasn't ready for that class. We would drop you down a little bit, get you back in the class that you belong in. Okay, we got your championship. I'm happy with that. And that's exactly what it is. They had a good dog. They didn't give up on him. They didn't give up on him. Mike, you can take it down, man. Take him to the door. See if anybody had anything to say about any answer in the chats, if you don't mind. I didn't get no reply, and then nobody ever tell me if they found any dog that wasn't in this book that's supposed to be a great dog, giving them the same recognition that we should get. Eli, Bully Son, Jeep, all the dogs that we seen tonight. Has anybody ever found one worthy of talking about that we can compare this dog to the dog we seen tonight in the book? So how in the hell y'all gonna convince me to say, fuck the journal and talk about some bullshit that's supposed to be out there during our time that ain't in here? If it ain't in here now, then did you still got some of that shit that we can talk about now that's making a difference back in our time, leaving into the 2000 that showed that he was worthy? Are we still listening to you talk about it? You gonna tell me through all the breeding that he was a good producer? Did none of them motherfuckers make it to the journal? Did none of them motherfuckers get out there and go into anybody who could have been registered in these books? None of that. But you want to be the first one to holler fuck the journal. Y'all tell me where the game is getting screwed up with listening to that bullshit. Because y'all don't see enough of these damn things to give relevance to what they really are compared to somebody who ain't nowhere in this shit. And think they got the leg to stand on to discuss anything in this book compared to they don't have nothing. Nothing. Y'all ready to fly on and fuck the journal shit? That show you your weakness. Anybody that think like that, that's your weakness. Y'all be ashamed of yourself. Calling yourself a true bulldog, man, when you could have been the first one to answer that question. Find me that bad motherfucker, registered married, anything that you want to call it, that we can talk about and say, yeah, he ain't in the journal, but we all know he a bad motherfucker. Show me that dog. You can't. I rest my case. I'm done.
Bro. I don't know what you want me to say, man. Fellas. This conversation is always going to be built in the need to know. The importance of the need to motherfucking know. And if y'all ain't figured that out and what was actually being tried to be said, the importance and what the journal meant to us. And maybe we were, like I said, maybe we was all in a different class. But it was a reason why the journal was able to strive the way it was able to strive and why people was trying to get in it. No, regardless of how they got there, that was what they wanted to do because they wanted to be recognized in this community of match dogs. And yes, it was really all about the need to know. And that, I rest my case.
Yeah, Tony, I remember when when they raided my yard, they took my picture that I had with me holding Snooty's gravestone. I hope you still got one. Yeah, I had a picture on your yard with Snooty's gravestone. Yes, I did. And yeah, I had the 405 yearbook that I gave you when I was the Book of Champions when I was at your crib. You're right.
Big shout out to my man Lucky Orion. I see you, Lucky. Long time no see, fam.
Hey man, I didn't get a chance to watch the chat because I'm too busy in the book. I see y'all was doing. Thank y'all for the great show. Awesome show. Thank you, fellas. Thank you. The 90s was the best, boy. Shit came up.
Shit got even more crazier as we kept coming up.
Oh yeah, by the time we got into the 2000 and really around 90, 93, 93, 94, 95, shit started getting rough. It really got funky once the Mayday dogs hit the scene, though. Y'all think I'm lying? Shit got crazy. But them dogs was winning everywhere, and because nobody do nothing about it. Nobody. And Tony said, we need to start a church on the dogs. Hey, man, we need to start us really, not, I wouldn't even throw it on the church. But it would have to be something other than Facebook and YouTube. You know what I'm saying? We want to be free. Because without that help, y'all, that we trying to offer you guys, y'all don't have nothing to carry to the future. If y'all don't have these books to be able to look into and study and really look at the matches, or even some of the old journals and study the match reports and the stories in it, a whole lot of guys tell you about the keeps and the caring of your dogs, the way they advertised their dogs back then, you know, guys you never seen before, advertising great bred dogs, brothers to this great dog or daughter to this great dog. You know, everybody was selling dogs back then. So much easier than what y'all doing on Pairs Online. So much easier because the journal had the information that was more reputable than anything, because you get called out on the journal, you put some bull fake ass shit in that motherfucker. And even though Beeline got away with it and got away with it for a long time, you cannot let your head get out there above the water where we got the sharks. Because you will get called out on that. You understand what I'm saying? Mo, the Luther dog that beat Nunes, New York, Nunes gave props to him. Yeah. Yeah, because New York was a bad motherfucker. New York, at one time, we didn't think New York could get whooped. But you know how that is. You get out there with a badass right there and you got him open like that.
No, your mic went out.
Noonie wasn't afraid, so you know, New York he was open to the world.
Hey, Tony said, "Damn, I have it in my photo album."
Oh man, you need to get that. You need to get me. You need to scan that, man, and get it to me, man. I really do hope you have it, Tony, because yes, I was in your yard holding Snooty's gravestone. The first I said, man, I seen that gravestone when I first got in the doors on Atlas Brewer's yard when it was still on the ground with a damn near nice little fresh grave at the time. Didn't even know who Snooty was. Fat Bill is definitely a great. Can't take nothing away from Fat Bill being a great. Fat Bill did so much for the dog game, man. When it comes down to him and his book, him and the way he ran his book and his dog. The only thing I can tell you about Fat Bill, and I ain't gonna never back down from this shit. When Fat Bill bought his ass out that Dixieline connection and ran into the fast lane that we call the fast lane, bottom line, his 6-time winner, his 7-time winner, and his 5-time winner lost. Now that hurts his damn feelings, so be it, because it's the damn truth. So Evil lost, Chi-Chi lost. And you gotta remember the other one. I said So Evil, Chi-Chi, and one more. But it was 3 of them. Hilfiger. Champion Hilfiger. All of them dogs lost. When he snooped out of that Dixieline shit that he was playing in, thanks to McCall and them, bringing him out there where we was all playing at, he lost. Now, I mean, the truth is the truth. I ain't saying he ain't no GOAT, but I'm telling you his best shit got beat up on fucking around there where we was playing at. That's all I'm saying. Can't hate me for being truthful. It ain't like I'm putting him down. It's a fact. Not taking nothing away from him. He's still my man. He get on my damn nerve with his shit, but look, he got a great book. He a great dog, man. Can't say he ain't. He been around all the great dog, man. Don't half of them don't like him, but he is definitely one to deserve to be in a Hall of Fame. Fat Bill, I ain't said he didn't. I didn't say he was a GOAT, but how much of a GOAT you give him is not the same GOAT that I would give him. I give him more of what he did for the journal. I mean, you know, his book was very informational. His dogs were good, but you know, like they said, there's levels to this shit, and he wasn't scared. That Bill ain't never been scared. I ain't say nothing about him being scared. I ain't never heard me one time say he ducked anybody, not one time. And the dogs that beat him were great dogs. Great dogs. Not no bullshit. Great dogs. So it take a bad man to go into a bad dog. Say, what's my opinion on Boyle's Little John Blood? Boyle's Little John Blood is a registered married line of dogs. What more do I need to say? You know what I'm saying, fam? Boyle's dogs were either registered or married. What more do I need to say? You can't take nothing away from something that's already proven. It's not like we can't prove it, is it? It ain't like we can't prove it. Not just talk about it. We can show you the receipts of why he's a good dog. Can't say nothing bad about it. You can't put something better in front of it, right?
Unless you hating. Don't be no hater with no receipts. I make you a troll.
Tony said he beat Hargrove with Gus's father, then turned around and sold him Gus's father. What he do? He produced Ruth. He produced Gus. One hell of a bulldog. I mean, I see a lot of stuff in here. Yeah, he was. Hey, Tony, I'm glad you stepped in, man. Hey, Tony, next time you might as well come on up here and hang out with us, bro. Well, you did you and old King Yash, y'all was having you a good time, wasn't you?
Archie, too. Archie knows some shit, too. Lucky Orion.
Yeah, that's funny. Because that's right. I be trying to tell them about old judo we got from Atlasboro. Up a solid junk and Red Lady, Snooty Molly B inbred cross. I see y'all had a good time. Mad Doctor. I see you, baby.
All right, Mom.
That's on you, bang.
Well,
King Y'all said Tater was biting, wasn't she? Yeah, Tater had a hell of a mouth, and she had some ability. I saw her go. I know I saw her go at least 3 times. Yeah, I saw her go. She was a good one. Yeah, I can talk about Little Jeff and all these great dog men I've been around, fellas. You know, I can tell you so many, you know, you hear it in our raps. You hear there's guys in there that's not even on a rap yet that need to be there. There's so many guys that I talk about that need to be in the Hall of Fame, you know, that's not there. You know, just a lot of great dogs. Yeah, Archie. Texas Ron has some badass dogs, man. He had a good line of dogs going there.
You see it. Y'all see him.
You know, and let's be funny. Big Thicket down there in Texas. Texas Ron down there in Texas. Mad down there in Texas. Dead serious down there in Texas. Now y'all tell me something. If all that evolution shit was good as they said it was, goddamn it, why wasn't they taking their dogs into any of those guys? Somebody explain that one to me. Now y'all gonna say I'm hating for asking the question? Or y'all gonna say, Twin, you got a point? You know, many more great dog men down in there. I'm just asking. If I want to be a reputable guy, I gotta take a shot at somebody. You know what I mean? You gotta take a shot at somebody. You're beating people, but you know, I can't understand why you ain't running to none of these guys when these guys was hot like fireworks down in your ear during the time that you was trying to make all these great dogs. Not taking nothing away from them, but hey, the question: if you was me doing that, y'all be asking me that question, expecting an answer. I'm just saying, some of the things that we speak on from our experience, you know, we got the insights to a lot of things. And when we ask these questions, like I talk about Fat Bill, you know, I don't want nobody thinking I'm hating on Fat Bill when I'm sitting up here telling y'all what's fact. I don't call that hating. How can I be hating on him when I like it? I'm still calling him a great dog man. But I'm going to give you some facts for the goddamn knowledge. Maybe if he had bought that shit out there, you know, bought them other ones out there that, you know, that made it before they got to where he took these other dogs, you might not have been hearing the same good things that you hear about those dogs. Could Valero went out there? I don't know. She was a good dog. Could Zabo went out there? I don't know. But I just showed y'all comparing his grand championship to Sadie's grand championship. Y'all tell me. Hey, I'm just asking. That's all. Hope y'all enjoyed me. Mike, it's all yours, baby. Thank you guys for listening. Thank y'all for the little rep y'all gave me for doing this for y'all. We got the year 2000. We got several of those where things really livened up, where y'all see more familiar dogs. Tony, I got some of Flex's stuff that you know, somehow Flex ended up in our book. And, you know, that means one of Flex's dogs, I think it was a brother and a sister that you got with some going hard and it coming down off of Flex that made it to our book. I think it was coming off of that long snake stuff. Yeah. That snake dog came down off of Baby. All right, Mike, on you, baby.
All right. Because there ain't nothing left to do. So go ahead. Show some love. Just show some love. I know it's late, but it's still enough in y'all to make some noise. Give me some goddamn thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Muscles, muscles, muscles. Now, come on, y'all. We deserve it tonight. Come on. Roses, roses. We need damn roses. Show your love.
About that shit like it's hot, fellas.
Hey man, don't forget to hit that like button, but show them roses, man. Show them.
Oh man, hey, I saw Big Bro come through. Randy Pryor, Mile. Thank you, Big Bro. I see my man stepped out of the back street. What's up, Big Bro? Said good show, fam. Come from the Big Bro.
Hey, look, when he go to co-sign, got to keep it real. Look at the great dog man to be over here hanging out though, Mo. That's what I love. We got T Wade up in this motherfucker, Wow, Vance, Mr. Mr. Turner and shit.
Turner, I mean, man.
Come on, man.
Oh, great dog, man. We need a place to find them to go and put them somewhere we don't never forget them while we still talking about Floyd Boudreaux and Earl Tudor and Reese Carver. We beyond that. We need to give y'all something more newer to carry forward. It's still factual that we can show you facts instead of some makeup shit that we only listening to one person and y'all got the nerve to jump on that bandwagon just because I'm on this one here. You rather jump on a bandwagon that has nothing and I got all the proof over here. That's hater gator. There's no reason why you should be over there except for the fact that you hate what I'm pointing out to you. There's nothing to envy when it's the truth. If I'm telling it to you, I'm sure not telling it to put you down. I'm telling it to you so you can learn and elevate off of it. Elevate off of what I say to you. Elevate off of what I tell you. That's good information.
Especially when he's showing you. There ain't nothing you can go back there and change. You got your own mind and your own common sense. And what was the beginning? What did I say about tonight's show, Mo? What was it said? The need to know. There's a purpose. The journal gave us a reason to know. If you wanted to know, you had somewhere to go and find out. If you really wanted to play with the big boys, then there was enough of them out there. Go really play. Because that's what it was all about any damn way. And some of us just had the urge to just want to play with the big boys. Because there was enough of them to be played with. And I think anybody that was willing to take that risk and climb over them walls, become successful at it, then hey, that is what made up the American Pit Bull Terrier community and the dog game as far as I was concerned. And that's where we at, fellas. So we're going to be back here hopefully Tuesday if God blesses to be back here because we got just a little bit more because guess what? We just took y'all for just a little run. But remember, it was just getting cranked up right there. Remember what you seen tonight and watch just watch this change as we move from there into the 2000s. And remember, the demise fell in 2004. Yeah. That meant we have at least 10 more years of great dogmen, great dogs, great breedings, great offsprings. Yeah. Once you can appreciate what you're seeing and you understand it, you'll see why we always talk about the importance of we don't know what the future gonna do, but hey, whether you climbing up a wall or running a treadmill or whatever, competition is always where you're gonna gain your biggest respect. At least you ain't talking about it. You're really trying to do something about it. And if enough of y'all can get together and make it happen, y'all could change this whole thing around because what we did in the past is exactly what it is. It is the past. There's nothing wrong. A bulldog can be whatever you want him to be. All you got to do is make him do it. I mean, he's going to be an athlete regardless. He don't know what it is you want him to do, but if it's anything to do, he's going to be the best at what he do. And you want to be the one responsible for doing it. A bulldog is a bulldog, period.
I meant $30 a year, y'all. We can make something happen. We can find us, or we can make something happen if we all were to just put into something. $30 a year, just like an old regular subscription to the journal. That's all we need. That could be a support to a big show, and you know what I'm saying. Some of us got that kind of money that they can put more in, but just imagine if we just invested $30 a year. what we getting out of that $30. That's something that we need to understand. What do we lack to give up $30? We lack organization. Something that we need. We need our own registry. We need our own pig picking. We need our own source of information that don't have to include Facebook and YouTube. That's what we need. $30 a year, like a subscription in the journal. We get that much to pay us online to watch a bunch of people mess it up. But this is what we lack. This is what we need. We need a place to put our history at. We need to help out that APDR because we need Mau, Triple M, Roster Man, even Fat Bill. They need to be in that Hall of Fame. We need to get them there. We need to donate to that man so that man can get some shit up. And if we have to fly these great dog men down there, $30 a year, we got enough people putting $30 in. We should be able to get them there, and we should be able to create that big Pit Bull Hall of Fame for y'all to be able to continue it with your legacy. Gotta hear me when I say that.
Again, for y'all not familiar, reach out. I know they on Facebook, the APDR. I mean, get over there, do some research. You'll see that's the future of the game. Because they really trying to do right by it. But they actually do respect why we talk and preserve the American Pit Bull Terrier, because you wouldn't have it to preserve if it wasn't there to be preserved. And these are great dogs with great dog men, and y'all just take that and make it your own. But you still
y'all need that Hall of Fame. Y'all need it. I need those pictures with me and my brother and Lockdown Rudy and Jerry Wiley from DSK and pictures of Mau and Loctite and Triple M.
Super Kennels.
Super Kennels, Deep South, anybody that we can get there, man, that we can have that moment to do a show and everybody come just to meet those people that's going in that motherfucker, man. At least you can say, I was there when they inducted that man into the Hall of Fame. I was there when Mau Triple M went into the Hall of Fame. I was there when Loctite and Super Kennels went in the Hall of Fame. I got pictures with these guys. To me, that's better than the journal. That's better than the journal. That's giving you something to work for to become a part of that damn unit of great dog men. Right now, they ain't in nothing. And they should be in something. Don't put me in no damn Hall of Fame when there's so many above me. Shit, Abraham ain't even in the Hall of Fame. Stone City, Big Mike, you know what I mean? Strictly Business, Cuban Miscellaneous. I mean, we got so many of them out there. BLB. There's so many of them out there. Brian Bailey need to be in the Hall of Fame.
Bill Struthers.
Bill Struthers with Luther need to be in the Hall of Fame. If we need a home. We need a home for all those great dog men that can carry through the future with y'all. Y'all don't have those books. Tony Wade need to be in the Hall of Fame, baby. I need to get that picture with you, baby, with that damn plaque, man. Like I had with that Snooty Stone. Give it up, fam. We need to make it happen. He down there right there with you.
All right, fellas. I mean, I can't, to need to know, you got to want to know. I mean, that's the whole hunger in the game, you know. that need to know can be a very powerful piece, you know what I mean, of your drive. I just gotta know. You know what I'm saying? That's what drove the game. So as we get up out of here, I need everybody to stay safe, you know, and put in a little work. You know what I'm saying? Don't just take our conversation and just say it's just conversation. Understand it for what it is. It's a reference point. It's a point that if you didn't know something, it make you wonder. It make you want to look a little bit deeper. And then hopefully while you're looking at just a little bit deeper, you got that hunger to just want to be just a little bit better of whatever is coming new in the future of this American Pit Bull Terrier. Because the past is what it is and what it should always be, and let it stay what it is. The underground is always taking care of itself. It don't need no help. But for you, the people who want to be right, represent, guess what? There's always been a right way. Just got to make it worth putting time and effort in. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of work. You don't ever think it ever came easy, because it don't. If you ain't put in the work, then you don't need to have it. So don't take no shortcuts. Be straight up. Be real about it. Be true to it. Be loyal to it. And love it. Because if you love it enough, you're going to always understand why we say we always. I don't know, Mo.
You better always.
I'm telling you, you better always
Scratch the win, fellas. Hold it down.
Tell you, hold it down, baby. Hold it down. Because that
love y'all, man. Thanks for coming out.
Happening. Yes, sir. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And we will see y'all Tuesday. I'm out.
Yeah. Better know my head, but don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pit bulls. See the proof and how to get from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pit bulls. See the proof and how to get from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Most wanted kennels in the spotlight. Danger alert come with the name. Super Kennels competition, all built for the fame. Work Kennels was the work and work, while Cherokee kept the game strong. Evolution built a bloodline where the heart come from. These dogs ain't hype, they the truth in the pit. Every pedigree stamp when them paws hit the street. Ain't no fairy tales, just that real y'all grit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the Pit Bull script. Shout the brothers with the backbone thick. Beer brothers, color brothers, Bishop brothers legit. They don't talk about it, they be about it every day. Put the work in and y'all let the results say. Them boys on the rise, yeah, the circle stay tight. Plow boys, wall boys, Havana boys in the fight. Different flags, same grind, same fire, same spit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the litmus test.
Legend of doom, behind set tone. Locked tight, locked in, carved in stone. Church boys hold it with the pit bull gauge. Fruit colors on man, Sean B in the maze. Arsenal game deal, but your knife stay sharp. Only in America, walk them down, ram in the dark. DSK and metal, high dog, pound by hard. When they hit, praise to the men who rock this shit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, they live it.
Fat boy the legend, Lil Buster, real strong, Southern Bulldog, keep the bloodline long. Latin force pressure, sniper don't miss. Shaded day, shaded with a killer instinct. Twist, super night power, unit whole rank. Boot camp, click hitting like the Sherman tank. Lil' fine with the vision. Tennessee dog pound, got their eyes on the pit. All legendary and little shit. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, they built it brick by brick.
Talk about it, yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it, yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it,
Don't talk about it,
be about it.
don't talk about it.
That's the yard law, from the pups to the legends. Everybody stand tall. Every name on this track got a story that's lit. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Every name on this track got a story that's lit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Call this some legendary pit bullshit, 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 pit bullshit.
We in the trenches, feel that hunger in the air.
Yeah. Welcome to the yard. If you're tough, you can stare. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome to the yard. Where the chain spots shine, bloodlines run deep, every pedigree's prime. The game APBT, worldwide pride. You come correct or stay the hell outside. Legacy made. We grind, we hustle. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike locked in the scuffle. Yeah, we run the yard, iron fists and grit. When the sun comes up, no, we never gon' quit. Dudo and Devo, legends carved in stone. Patrick Bolio made the yard they home. Tanned and yellow, they whisper through the trees. Echoes of greatness, feel that legacy breeze. Going hard, going hard. Yeah, we run this yard, nothing but the best. We don't play it soft, bloodline stack heavy, 52 waist strong in this dog eat dog world. We know where we belong. The yard where greatness prevail. Pressure creates knowledge and hard work. It's how history bakes. All on the fucking deal. Pressure creates knowledge and hard work. It's how history bakes. Tails in the dirt. Every chain spot turn. Lessons learned hard. Like the scars we earn. No shortcuts taken. Champions ain't bought. Just blood and sweat. This legacy taught from Mayday to Ace. Buck to G. Every warrior counts. We ain't losing no sleep. Heat like a furnace. Knowledge is the key. In the yard we trust. We got the pedigree. Feel the intensity, blaze in the fight. In the shadows of the yard, we rewrite the night. From the ring to the chain, we like kings cut out. Mo and Mike, every victory's what we shout. Going hard, going hard. Yeah, we run this yard, nothing but the best. We don't play it all, bloodline stacked heavy, 52 waist strong in this dog eat dog world. We know where we belong, the yard in the dirt. Yeah, knowledge and hard work. It's how history made y'all in the dirt. Yeah. Knowledge and hard work, it's how history baked. Yeah, legacy in the dirt. Yeah, to that fame. The game APBT. Remember the name. So step back if you can't handle the heat. The yard's going hard. Put the game on repeat. It's Mo and Mike. Kings in this game, going hard. Kennels forever ain't the same, nigga.